Hello, hi, welcome back everybody to the Daily Cooking Show, to the Daily Cooking Stream. I hope you're all having a beautiful, amazing day today. If you're currently watching this live, it is 5 p.m. EDT, 5:01. I am a little bit late today, had a lot to do, had a lot to take care of. But we're here live, and we have a really exciting dish. We have a really exciting recipe today. Can't believe I said recipe. Oh, I can't even comprehend the concept that those words would come out of my mouth. I would never say such a thing. Because as you all know, nothing here is a recipe, it's all technique and demonstration. Want to make that abundantly clear. Welcome on in. Happy Sunday, everybody. If you're watching this live, it is Sunday. It is 5:01, 5:02 EDT. It is August 26th, and I hope you're all having a beautiful day today. 25th. I am off my game. And hello to all of my lovely sous chefs. Hello to Shy Chica. Hello to Ilium. Hello to Gothmoth. Hello to Trash Can Cat Mom. Hello to San Pablo, of course. Hello to Ledgebit as well. And also welcome on in Dosky. Howdy, howdy. It is lovely to see all of you. I missed you all so much. I hope you're all having a beautiful day today. And I'm really excited about today's stream. I'm really excited about today's show because today we're going to be doing something a little bit elaborate. We're now kind of diverging out of the field of what I would typically consider to be home food. Today, my friends, we're going to be doing a ramen that is virtually from scratch. And we'll talk about some of my inspirations for why I wanted to do this. We're going to be doing a ramen. This is not a weeknight meal. This is a Sunday meal. This is a Sunday meal. It is time for us to go ahead and do something special. My ramen today, my friends, is going to be entirely vegetarian. And let me explain it to you this way. This is mostly a journey of self-discovery and myself and the kinds of foods that make me feel good. And I have found over the course of my life and with time that God forbid, so lock me up. I love eating vegetables. I love eating vegetables. Vegetables make me feel good. And in general, I feel like this is a very important concept that we need to eat the kinds of foods that make us feel good. I feel like ramen especially, super meat heavy dish. You have a meat broth. You have a couple of slices of really nice rich pork belly. It tends to be a very rich, very sumptuous, very heavy meal, which can be excellent, but it's not in the list of foods that tend to make me feel good. I wanted a ramen. I had a couple of ingredients that inspired me today, but I wanted a ramen that was all about the vegetable base. I wanted the vegetable base because that's the kind of foods that make me feel good, my friends. And so we'll go ahead, we'll make a homemade broth. We're going to do our own marinated ramen eggs. We have a lot of different components, and today's going to be a packed day. I don't know how long today's stream is going to go, but it's going to go for a while, presumably. Everybody, my inspiration for today comes from a few different places. One of them being, I had this container of miso paste in my fridge. This is going to be one of the final components into the ramen itself. It's just going to be mostly used inside of the bowl, but I love miso. I love miso paste. I love how fermented it is. I love how funky it is. And that is going to be one of the main components of today's ramen broth. That would be added at the end. I happen to have some of this at home that I wanted to go ahead and use up. Next, we have, my friends, a big pile of some fresh shiitake mushrooms. I love shiitake mushrooms. I love how flavorful they are. I love how juicy a shiitake mushroom is. And we're going to be able to use all of the shiitake mushroom stems inside of the stock for the ramen today. We'll gently poach some of the caps as well to serve as a garnish, but we're going to be using the entirety of the shiitake mushroom today. I love mushrooms, I love protein, and I love the flavor of shiitake mushrooms above all else. So, in here I have a bunch of shiitake mushrooms, my friends. I've thoroughly washed them in preparation for you today. I'll go ahead and set that behind me. Next, let's talk about some of the big vegetables we have here. I have some corn. Why do I have corn? Because I'm going to have some charred corn on top as a topping. I have some leek, which is going to go into the stock itself. I have some garlic, I have some ginger, and I also have a sweet potato. And you might be like, oh, Daramgar, why is there a sweet potato involved here? And that is because I am basing my ramen broth somewhat off of the Serious Eats ramen broth, where there is a roasted sweet potato that is blended into the broth itself, helping it get a bit of pseudo creaminess. It gives it some amount of viscosity, and it gives it some amount of richness. So I have a sweet potato, and that's going to be integrated into the dish today. We're only going to need a small chunk of it, relatively speaking. And I'll go ahead and set that behind me. Next, I've recently been on a bokchoy kick. I made some instant ramen the other day with some bokchoy, and I was like, yeah, that's what I want. We're gonna quickly cook some bokchoy, and it's going to be served alongside this beautiful ramen, my friends. So, got some bokchoy ready to go, all set for today, all nice and washed up, and we'll talk about that a little bit. Next, what do we have here? I have some mirin, and I have some sesame oil. Mirin is going to be used for the ramen eggs themselves. Mirin is a bit of like a sweet, rice wine. It is a sweet rice wine. It is used in a lot of different savory contexts, and in the case of today, it's going to be used to marinate the eggs. We have some sesame oil, which is going to go on top as a garnish. Okay, next we have a reasonable amount of dried shiitake mushrooms. This might be the most amount of dried shiitake mushrooms I've ever seen. I stole these from my good friend Luke because I realized when I woke up this morning that I did not have dried shiitake mushrooms, and then he had some. So I went over to his home and I took some. So a bunch of shiitake mushrooms, my friends. And again, this is all to contribute to the broth. It's to make it really, really nice. It's to make it really, really nice and meaty and nice and delicious. Okay, so bunch of shiitake mushrooms all ready to go for today as well. And then I have some eggs chilling out in the fridge, but that is the basic gist of all the ingredients. So today, my friends, we're making one thing. We're just making the ramen, but it is an egregious amount of components. If you've noticed, we have to make the broth ourselves with a million different ingredients. We have to do the charred corn. We have to do the sweet potato. We have to do the bokchoy as well. We have to do the shiitake mushrooms, and we have to do the ramen eggs. There is a lot going on. Today is going to be a bit of a hectic day. We're going to try our best to keep up, and I want to hear a nice resounding yes, chef. I need some energy. I need to see that you're all invigorated and ready to go for today. Okay, but perfect, beautiful. Thank you, Shai Chica. That's exactly what I'm talking about. That's exactly what I want to see. So everybody, a little bit of housekeeping. Before we begin for today, as always, you can ask me any and all cooking questions that you may have. And, you know, at any point in time, you can type in exclamation mark menu. Typing in exclamation mark menu will give you the full list of all the different ingredients that we're using today. And also, if you'd like to support the show, exclamation mark Patreon is the best way to go ahead and do so. Best way to go ahead and directly financially support the show, because my goal is to be able to do this full time one day. So we're going to begin by making the broth. We're going to be using my pressure cooker, of course, as always, because that is my favorite way to do homemade broths. It saves on so much time. But we need to begin by charring and roasting the ingredients for today. So this is a vegetarian broth. A really huge problem that vegetarian broths tend to have is they lack oomph. They lack meatiness. They lack depth of flavor. But not anymore, my friends. All of that is going to change, and I'm going to explain to you exactly why. We're going to begin by charring our ingredients for the broth. We're going to not just cook them. We're not just going to slightly roast them, my friends. We are going to heavily and profoundly char them. I have half an onion somewhere as well. I have some scallion ends. There you go. Okay, and then I also have this onion right here. We're going to be making use out of one of my favorite kitchen tools, the broiler. Okay? Wait a second. Did exclamation mark menu not update? Uh-oh. Hold on. Why does it still say chicken and tofu jjigae? It shouldn't be doing that. That should not have happened. Oh no. I don't know how, but my changes did not save. Okay. There is no exclamation mark menu for today. In that case, everybody, I sincerely apologize. My menu function, my menu command is broken. I adjusted it before the show, and yet for some reason it did not update. So I sincerely apologize. Okay, everybody, I have ginger and I also have some garlic. Okay, for my ginger, I'm going to be using roughly half of this bad boy. All of this is going to be going into the final stock today, and the rest of this I can go ahead and set aside me. I can put that behind me. As for the garlic, we're going to be doing just about the whole thing. All I'm going to go ahead and do, everybody, I'm going to keep it skin on. I'm going to be keeping the garlic skin on because it's all going to get charred, and I don't want my garlic to get burnt too much. So I'm just going to go ahead and break it up into all of its individual cloves. And then I'm going to go ahead and get my half an onion ready. This is just my old leftover onion. I'm just going to peel off the topmost dirty layers of the skin itself. I'll cut off a little chunk of the dirty root on the bottom because we have no use for that whatsoever inside of my stock for today. And then I will be preheating my broiler. The broiler is your top heating element of the oven. It's super, super hot. And the thing that it does best, my friends, is it gets a good char on something. It gets a good sear. It gets a really nice, deep, profound color. And that is exactly what we're looking for. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and quickly wash up my ginger. We're not going to need to peel the ginger for today. Okay, so only thing I'm doing, I'm just washing it up, getting it all ready to go. And then I'm going to go ahead and open up the inside of the ginger, my friends. I'm going to just give it a slice in half lengthwise like so that we can go ahead and get that flesh nice and beautifully chugged up. Okay, so there's that. Next, we're going to go ahead and make the use out of all of those scallion bottoms, my friends. Okay, so where did I put my scallions? There they are. Excellent. All of these, my friends, all of these are different components that are going to come back to giving us a beautiful and deep and meaty stock without needing to use any meat whatsoever. Okay, so we have all of these scallions, and the beauty of scallions, okay, is that you don't have to throw away the bottoms, my friends. The bottoms are an excellent byproduct that gets to be repurposed in these kinds of contexts. You don't have to waste it. It'll still contribute a beautiful allium-y flavor, my friends. So only thing I'm going to do is we're going to save all of these bottoms. We're going to cut them off. We're going to go ahead and cut them off. Cut them off. There you go. Get them out of here. And also Pain Pill, thank you so much for the Prime sub. I really, really appreciate it. Okay, just cut them off, my friends. Cut them off. Beautiful, excellent, phenomenal. Okay, I'm gonna begin preheating my boiler. I'm gonna make sure that it is nice and hot because the goal, my friends, is to deeply and thoroughly char all of my different vegetables. Okay, I wanna get them nice and charred. I wanna get them nice and beautifully smoky. Okay, and that is exactly what we're going to go ahead and achieve. So, turning on my boiler inside of my little toaster oven. And the next thing that we have to do is we just have to go ahead and toss these bad boys in a little bit of oil. The oil is going to help to evenly conduct the heat over the surface of the vegetable so that it gets nice and evenly browned. Because I want nice even browning, my friends. I want nice even charring. You're going to look at this and go, ew, Dara, that's burnt. It's supposed to be burnt. It's supposed to be charred. It's supposed to be smoky. Can I please get a resounding yes shot from everybody watching, please? And thank you. So, all of this is going to be going into my stock for today. I'm going to go ahead and get a little sheet tray ready to go. I'm going to wrap it up in a little bit of aluminum foil. And then we're just going to get these bad boys on. We're going to get them lubed up with a little bit of oil to help to evenly conduct the heat. And we're going to get them nice and charred and deeply smoky and delicious, my friends. Okay, we want to push these vegetables. We want to push them to the absolute limit. Okay, so sheet tray all ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and grab a little mixing bowl, or rather something big enough that I'll be able to toss all of my different components in, putting in my garlic, my ginger, my scallion bottoms and whatnot. And all I'm going to do, my friends, is I'm going to give it a little tiny drop of oil. And again, this is all just to help to evenly conduct the heat over the vegetables. So a little bit of oil goes a super long way in this case. Take it and just toss it up. Toss it up, shake it. Now, there is a reason why I'm not doing this on the sheet tray itself, because it's really inefficient. It is so much easier, my friends, to first do this motion, to do this job, to get it nice and evenly covered in the oil inside of a bowl that you could shake in. Okay, we're also going to be adding a little bit of salt because it's going to help pull out some of the moisture as they cook. A little bit of salt, but we don't need any other seasonings on top of that. Okay, so a little bit of salt on my onions, on my garlic, on my scallion bottoms. Excellent. I'm gonna grab my sheet tray and we're just going to go ahead and lay it all in. Super important. I wanna make sure that the flat sides of everything are up, flat sides up, and make sure that everything has enough space to breathe. Everybody, if you compact this too tightly inside of the sheet tray, it's going to end up steaming. It is not going to cook evenly, it is just going to steam, and it is not going to be a very pleasant experience. So, all that we have in here, once again, we have this chunk of ginger, we have some garlic, we have some onion, and I'm going to go ahead and put this under the broiler. Does anybody have any questions for me at this moment in time? Today, we're going to have so many different components, and if you have leftover vegetables, if you have leftover mushrooms, if you have leftover scallions, if you have leftover other kinds of alliums, this is the way to use it up, my friends. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and put away the oil now. We need to begin, while those vegetables are charring, while they're getting nice and smoky, we need to prepare the rest of the broth ingredients. And that is going to begin with this leek. Okay, everybody, I love leeks. I love the flavor of leeks. They're one of my favorite alliums of all time. But a thing that I cannot stand about leeks is the fact that people do not know how to properly wash them. Everybody, leeks are dirty. Leeks are full of mud. They're full of sand in between the layers. You need to open it up. You need to break it down to actually get in there to take out all of the sand and all of the dirt out of the leek. Otherwise, you will never actually have a properly clean leek. We're going to go ahead, cut off the greens. I'm going to be using my salad spinner today, throwing that into my salad spinner, and I'll show off exactly what that process looks like. Then I'm going to go in here. We're going to just slightly cut off the dried off bottom. And then I'm going to take this bad boy and I'm going to go ahead and split him right in the middle, my friends, right in half, just like so. Okay, so we have now exposed the inside of the leek. And look at the sand. Look at the sand that is in the layers. That is why we have to do this. It is essential that we open up the leek, my friends. There is sand trapped in the layers and you can't just rinse it off. You have to separate the layers. And that is something that I will keep talking about over and over, because over and over I see people not properly wash their leeks. Okay, so grabbing my salad spinner. Okay, and I'm just gonna go ahead and break up these bad boys. So we're going to soak the leeks. We're going to soak it so that all of the sand, that all of the dirt, all of the mud is just able to seep to the bottom. Okay, so break up each and every single one of these layers, my friends. Break it up, break it up. Absolutely no leek left behind. Okay, break it up, break it up, break it up. Get it all broken down, get it all ready to go for today. And I can smell my vegetables getting nice and charred. I can smell them getting nice and smoky. They smell excellent. And they're going to stop smelling excellent soon. They're going to start smelling burnt. And that is okay, my friends, because that is exactly what we're going for. So, again, continue to break it down. Break down the leek. Break it all down. Right? Separate all of those wonderful layers. And all I'm going to be doing in the meantime is I'm going to soak it in water. And then I'm going to go ahead and get in there and make sure that I'm washing all of the dirt and the grime off. I apologize, everybody. I am a mess today with my stream. So I apologize for being a little all over the place. So leeks, gonna go ahead and soak it in some nice ice cold water. And we can go ahead and continue with the rest of the prep in the meantime. Does anybody have any questions for me at this moment in time? And if not, we can go ahead and continue on with the prep. And I'll have a little sip of water. Wow, I was dehydrated. That definitely did not help matters at all. Okay, all I'm doing, guys, is I'm just making sure that my leeks are nice and soaked. I'm making sure that they're nice and covered, and we're gonna have nice clean leeks going into our stock today. We do not want dirty leeks under any circumstance whatsoever, okay? So, nice and soaked, all ready to go. And we're just gonna leave them to soak, and then we'll go ahead and give them a proper wash in a little bit. Okay, everybody, in the meantime, we can also check on all of the vegetables under our broiler. We're giving them a good char, we're getting them nice and smoky, we're getting them nice and roasted, but we don't want to completely leave them unattended. If we leave them unattended, we will risk potentially setting it on fire. Okay, when you're working with a broiler, guys, do not leave your kitchen for basic safety reasons. So, I'm going to go into the broiler. I'm going to go ahead and just pop out my different vegetables. And we're going to see how they're doing. And they're beginning to get a bit of color on them. They're beginning to get somewhat roasted. But that is not enough, my friends. This amount of charring is superficial and we won't feel it inside of the final stock. I need you to push it. I need you to push the boundaries on this thing. So, take it, spin it around, flip the sheet tray over, and get that thing back into the broiler and get it back charred. Okay? I want it nice and charred, I want it nice and crispy, and I want it nice and smoky. So, back to my cutting board. We're going to go ahead and begin prepping our mushrooms for today. So, I have all these shiitake mushrooms. Normally, people don't like to eat the stems of a shiitake mushroom because they find it to be woody, as do I. I don't love the texture of a shiitake mushroom. Stem, that is. However, the shiitake mushroom stem, my friends, it still has so much flavor to provide. These mushrooms, all I did was I just heavily washed them. I got all the dirt off of them, but we're going to be using every single one of these mushroom stems inside of my final stock for today. Okay, so all I'm doing, really nice and simple, I'm just plucking them. I'm plucking them, I'm ripping them off, nice and easy, and all of it is going to go back on in. Just pluck it. And then a few of them we're going to leave whole and intact. So we're going to pick our ugliest and our most malformed shiitake mushrooms. Those are the ones that are going to go back into the stock as well, because we're going to be extracting every single last bit of flavor. All of the solids inside of the pot of stock will be discarded. So yes, we are going to be wasting a few mushrooms, but that's okay, because by that point, my friends, they are going to be completely devoid of any flavor whatsoever. These mushrooms will be so heavily cooked down, there will be nothing left. There'll be a shell of their former selves. So, gonna grab all these mushrooms, gonna grab them and throw them into my lovely stock pot, into my pressure cooker pot. Now, if you wanted to, you could just do the stock as it is. You could simmer it for about an hour and a half on a stove. I'm gonna do this in my pressure cooker again, in the interest of saving time. The issue with using a pressure cooker is the heat is so high that it might make some of the vegetables a little cloudy and a little mushy, and it might compromise the texture of my broth, but it's still gonna be a delicious chicken broth. It's still gonna be a delicious ramen broth at the end of the day. There's no chicken in this whatsoever. So, all my mushroom stems going inside. Just quickly taking a little look at my charred vegetables. They're going along, they're looking excellent. They smell nice and roasted, nice and charred, nice and smoky. We're going to go ahead and move on to my dried shiitake mushrooms. So, got a bunch of these bad boys. And I'm going to grab nothing short of several handfuls of these dried shiitake mushrooms. And the only thing I'm going to do, my friends, is I'm going to give them a quick little rinse under cold running water, because these also tend to have a little bit of sand. I love the texture of these when they're raw, because they remind me of like a popcorn, almost. They remind me of like cheddar popcorn, holding a raw shiitake mushroom. Guys, I do not recommend eating a raw dried shiitake mushroom. I don't think that will be particularly pleasurable. Okay, so really, really strongly do not recommend doing that at all. In fact, these don't even look that particularly sandy. Porcini mushrooms are infamously sandy. Porcini mushrooms are infamously dirty and gritty. These shiitakes, guys, they don't look so bad at the moment. So all I'm going to go ahead and do is just grab them and throw them into my pressure cooker pot as well. Okay, I'm smelling my vegetables. They're continuing to char. They're continuing to get really, really smoky, my friends. Okay. They're getting nice and crispy all around the edges, and now the only thing I have left to do is just to continue washing up my leeks. We're gonna flood the stock pot with water. It's gonna be delicious, and it's gonna be phenomenal. Okay, so I guess I could just individually rinse each leek in front of all of you. I don't even need to particularly salad spin it today, because it's all gonna boil, it's all gonna cook down, right? So that's not all that necessary in this case. So I'm just drying off my knife, because I have a carbon steel knife, of course. Give that a little wipe off. Wipe it off, wipe it off. Excellent. Okay, and now, let's go ahead and take a look at my vegetables that are under the broiler. Again, I want them nice and charred, my friends. I want them nice and smoky. I want them to really, really contribute to the depth and the flavor of the stock, because this is not just boiled vegetables. This is charred, meaty vegetables, my friends. Okay, and it's going to go a super, super long way. So, opening it up, let's go ahead and take a look. How's it going? How's it looking? And honestly, everybody, I feel like this has now hit the point where I could push it even further. Honestly, we still have some more prep to do. We can keep pushing it. Only thing, I'm just going to rotate some of my vegetables. Just put them into different positions on the sheet tray to keep them evenly charring, to keep them all evenly roasting. I might take off the garlic, because I actually don't want my garlic to get too scorched, and we can always keep its skin on, my friends. It's all gonna get strained out at the end of the day, okay? So all of my garlic I'm gonna just throw back inside really quickly. Did I absolutely burn the shit out of my fingers doing this? Yes, I did. Do I care? I do not, because I am a chef, and that is what chefs, ow, the oil stuck to my finger, and that actually hurt quite a bit. Never mind, don't worry about chefs, guys, they're not great. All right, putting it back in. Gonna go ahead and let it char once more. And as you can see, my pressure cooker pot is beginning to form. We have the shiitakes, we have the dried shiitakes in there, okay? And it's going to have so much more, and it's gonna be phenomenal. So, gotta keep prepping, gotta keep on moving. I'm going to need to go ahead and move on to the leek component now. So, back to this. And I'm gonna grab my big container of leeks. We're gonna rinse them off. Put some nice fresh cold water in there. and just get it nice and prepped. Okay, at this point in time, does anybody have any questions for me whatsoever? We're gonna set the broth to cook. We're going to set some sweet potatoes to roast. We're going to go ahead and do the ramen eggs as well. We have a work cut out ahead of us today, guys. It's a lot of work, it's a lot of effort, but it's all gonna be worth it at the end of the day. It's gonna be phenomenal. Okay, here's my leeks. All set, all ready to go. Okay, and so all I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and dunk them in the water. I'm going to make sure that they have no more visible sand on them. And once I am sure that they have no more visible sand, we can go ahead and throw them into the pressure cooker pot. Okay, so getting in there, really inspecting each and every single layer, my friends. Do not skip this process. Please be diligent, be careful. You don't want sand in your final food unless you strain it out with a cheesecloth, but even then, the idea of pressure cooking sand also kind of sounds unpleasant. All right, you don't want sand, you don't want to damage your teeth, so do your due diligence. Do what you gotta do, guys. Okay, so going in there, making sure that every single little chunk of my leek is all set and all ready to go for today. My veggies are continuing to char. They're continuing to get nice and beautifully smoky. Rinse them off. Beautiful. Glass seasoning? Ugh. Oh no. Could we create glass in a pressure cooker with no water inside of it? I feel like the pressure cooker, if it's like an Instant Pot, it does have like a thing. If it's like, hey, there's no water in here, you can't pressure cook. Like it does have a system to detect that. But can we? If that limit was not present. Only one way to find out. I'm so glad that my lovely, incredible Twitch chat, whom I love dearly, is encouraging me to do good things that won't lead to accidents. What an amazing and caring and beautiful community that I have. Okay, rinsing off my leeks, guys. Again, we're just getting all the sand off of them, all of them off. Excellent, almost done. You gotta keep it going. You can't stop. Okay, 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 excellent. Everybody, we have officially confirmed together, with your help, everybody, please give yourselves a nice pat on the back, right? Thank you, my little sous chefs. We've gotten all the sand off of the leeks. All of them off, all of them gone, and now this entire leek is going to be used towards the stock today. This is going to be an allium heavy stock. It's going to be aromatic, it's going to be sweet, and it's going to be flavorful. So, all of my lovely leeks, look at this massive bunch. In she goes. Just into the pressure cooker pot, as it is, my friends. Okay, next I'm going to go back into the broiler and we're going to see just how charred my onion and my ginger has become. Again, we are relying on the onion and ginger. We're relying on them. We need them. I need her. I miss her. Okay, that is going to contribute to a lot of the roasted depth and a lot of the flavor of my broth, my friends. And I can tell you right now, that does actually smell quite excellent. The ginger at this point is nice and aromatic. It's nice and delicious. So I'm tossing it in. My onion, I'm going to go ahead and grab and toss that bad boy in as well. In she goes. Perfect. Okay, everybody, with that being said, I think that's everything I need for my stock. We have all of our different aromatics, we have all of our different components, and so let's talk about them. So, inside of this pot, I know this looks like a big, strange amalgamation of different vegetables, but that's because it is. Everybody, I'm doing an entirely vegetarian ramen today, and that is beginning with some charred onion, some charred scallions, some charred ginger, and charred garlic. That is going to give us some depth. We have dried shiitake mushrooms, we have fresh shiitake mushrooms, and we have some leeks. Okay, we're gonna have a beautiful stock. Now the only thing left, fill it up with water. Fill it up with water and let it pressure cook. So, Koi, welcome on in. Unfortunately, exclamation mark menu is broken today, so that is not going to work out. My keyboard glitched out. I'm gonna take a second and just like take like a breath, because I think I've had like 6 different things go wrong all at once and I'm like a little annoyed about it. Okay, so everybody, once again, inside of this pressure cooker pot is all of the ingredients for my vegetarian ramen. I think making other forms of ramen inside of a home setting is unrealistic. Think about a traditional tonkotsu. A traditional tonkotsu that takes 8 hours of boiling and skimming the scum and washing the pork feet. It is so much effort. It is so unrealistic, my friends. But something like this vegetarian ramen, even if it's not the easiest thing in the world, this is still something that you can make at home. So, leeks, ginger, garlic, onion, scallion, all of it inside, dried shiitake mushrooms and fresh shiitake mushrooms too. I'm going to go ahead, fill up this pot with some water, and we're going to pressure cook it for about 45 minutes or so to 50 minutes. Guys, it is essential that we do not overcook this. If we overcook this, the vegetables will turn into mush and they'll make the stock really, really, really cloudy. Okay? So, filling it up with some nice cold water. And in fact, I might even do low pressure cooking for today for about 50 minutes. So fill it up, make sure that your vegetables are mostly covered. Again, you do need to consider that a lot of the vegetables will end up shrinking down. Okay, I have no idea how much water I added. I did not measure it all. We're going to take one last look at my lovely pot. Look at this bad boy. Hello, keyboard, please. My keyboard is freaking out today. Look at this thing. Beautiful. All those vegetables, it's all gonna transform into an amazing stock, my friends. So, gonna go ahead and get it, gonna set it, and dare I say, forget it as well. Ugh. Gotta give my back a little crack. Set it. Pressure cook it, setting it onto high for about 50 minutes or so. We're gonna do it for 50 minutes, my friends, and then we'll pull it out, and that's going to be perfect, and it's going to be delicious. So, we still have, in the meantime, a lot of different individual components that we need to make. The next step, my friends, is going to be the marinated ramen eggs. Now, something that you might not know is that I absolutely love ramen eggs. For those of you that have ever gone out to ramen, you'll know what a ramen egg is. It is a soft-boiled egg with a super creamy yolk, and then you bite into the egg, and there's an explosion of sweetness, and there's an explosion of saltiness, and it's flavorful, and you have no idea what happened. Ramen eggs are marinated eggs. They're marinated soft-boiled eggs in a mixture of soy sauce, a little bit of sugar, a little bit of garlic, and a little bit of ginger. It is flavorful, and it is probably my favorite thing in a bowl of ramen, to have a nice, delicious ramen egg. Okay, so that's what we're going to go ahead and begin preparing. We need to make some soft-boiled eggs. We need to go ahead and prepare the marinade as well, and there's going to be a lot of theory to this. We're going to begin, my friends, by boiling the eggs. So, really quickly, 4 ramen eggs. And any type of hard-boiled egg. I need to hear a nice resounding yes, chef, from everybody watching, please and thank you. There's a little bit of culinary theory when it comes to getting an egg that is easy to peel. Getting easy peel eggs, soft-boiled or hard-boiled, can sometimes be a bit of a challenge, okay? Because eggs, they stick to the shell. They stick to the inside of the shell, they stick to the membrane, and then it becomes a mess to go ahead and peel off. But I'm going to teach you the almost foolproof way to consistently get easy peeling eggs. Okay, and we're going to do it, and we're going to do it together, and it's going to be excellent. And it's going to begin with some boiling water. Now, a lot of people, they begin their eggs in cold water because they say it cooks them more evenly, and that is true. Starting your eggs in cold water does cook them more evenly. However, by starting them off on a lower temperature, you increase the risk of the eggs sticking to the shell. So what we like to do, or rather Serious Eats likes to do, and the method that I learned from, is to begin in boiling water and then to reduce it to a simmer, my friends. By beginning in boiling water and reducing it to a simmer, you boil it just enough that it doesn't stick to the outside, but then you cook it slowly from the inside out with lower heat. Okay, and we're gonna be really, really nice and gentle to it. So, hot water for my tap. Gonna go ahead and fill up this pot. And then we're gonna prepare an ice bath. We'll talk about why we need to shock and cool the eggs, and it's gonna be excellent. So, a bunch of nice hot water out of my tap. Gonna go ahead and set that onto the stove. Everybody, my hair is getting so long, and I finally have a haircut appointment tomorrow, but I am getting so annoyed so annoyed at the prospect of having to constantly tie my hair back up. It is becoming an actual headache for me at this point in time. Okay, so everybody, we have a few things that we need to prepare. Am I going bald? No, Koi. I will not be going bald at all. What kind of a question is that? WW, welcome on it. It is lovely to have you. Okay, so everybody, we need to prepare the marinade for the eggs. Now, the marinade is going to be a really simple collection of different ingredients, of which I neglected to pull a few of them out. Everybody, again, I apologize for being a little bit more all over the place today than usual. This is not my typical state of being. We'll figure it out. It'll be great. We're going for a short pixie cut? No. Askia, I'm just going to go ahead and get my bangs done again. I'm going to get my bangs done and I'm going to go ahead and call it from then on. Okay? So, excuse me, just have to check something really quickly. Okay, wonderful. So, let's go ahead and begin to prepare the marinade for today. I'm gonna be using the same bowl that I tossed the vegetables in. I'll just go ahead and do that because I already have it out. And in the interest, guys, of just using up my existing tools, I am a particularly messy cook. I use up a lot of different tools over the course of cooking. And I wanna be better. I wanna be different. I don't want to be stuck with a million different dishes at the end of the day. So everybody, please forgive me as I'm trying to get a little bit better at it in the meantime, okay? So, let's go ahead and begin the marinade. And it's going to begin right here in this little bowl. My keyboard has been freaking out today completely. Okay, we're going to need to make sure that we have a really good balance of ingredients. If your marinade is too sweet, if it's too salty, if it's too intense, if it's too fermented, your eggs are going to reflect that. A very beautiful thing about these ramen eggs, my friends, about these marinated eggs, is they actually soak up the marinade. They slurp it up. You put them inside of the fridge. In 4 hours and 6 hours, they're ideal. Now, in my case today, I am not going to have the time to do the perfect 4 to 6 hour ramen egg, but that is going to be for you, and all I'm going to do, my friends, is demonstrate the method. So, in my case, because of how specific the ratios are, we're going to need a measuring cup. We're going to need a measuring cup to just make sure that this does not come out too intense, my friends. Okay, so you have to be really gentle. I'm looking for a 1/4 measuring cup, and I can't seem to find it, so I'm just going to be using a 1/2 measuring cup and call it there. Okay, measuring cup. We're going to begin with a 1/4 cup of soy sauce and a 1/4 cup of mirin. I'm going to be using low sodium soy sauce because it's a lot easier to control and balance the amount of salt inside of the final dish. So, 1/4 cup, roughly going in. Okay, just plop that in. Next, we're going to go ahead and do the mirin. So, mirin, it is a type of sweet rice wine that you cook with, okay? And it's really delicious, and it is lovely, and you see it be used all over Japanese food. And in the case of the ramen eggs, it's just going to give them that really iconic flavor. So, opening that bad boy up. And we're also going to do roughly a 1/4 cup as well. We're going to need 1/2 cup of water, or actually an entire full cup of water, excuse me. And I'm going to be using warm water, everybody. We're using warm water because that is going to help to dissolve some of the sugar that we're about to add on in. So, just some nice warm water out of the tap. And last but not least, my friends, we're just going to go ahead and mix in a few little spoonfuls of sugar until we get the taste and the consistency that we're looking for out of the marinade. Does anybody have any questions for me at this point in time about the marinated eggs? Okay, and I'll just go ahead and grab a spoon, grab a few tablespoons of sugar, and call it a day. I just have to check that there's no ants inside of the sugar. Such is how it goes. We may or may not have had a few ants in recent time, but that's okay. So that's one. And we're going to start off with 2 tablespoons of sugar for today. And we're just going to mix it in and give it a little taste. That's it. Nice and easy, nice and simple. Mix it up, my friends, and make sure that the sugar is indeed fully dissolved. Mix it up, mix it up, mix it up. And the goal of these marinated eggs, guys, when you're eating the ramen, it's supposed to be this nice little treat. It feels so good to sink your teeth into it. I love marinated ramen eggs. They're one of my favorite things to eat of all time. So, let's take a look. Let's give that bad boy a little taste. Sweet, salty, needs more of that soy sauce. Needs a little bit more. Just gonna add a nice little splash of it in, and then we'll go ahead and give it another taste. Much better. Now it's balanced, my friends. Super, super simple. All that we have inside of this bowl, soy sauce, mirin, sugar. Okay, roughly, you want a 2-to-1 ratio of your water to your mirin and your soy sauce. And then you're able to go ahead and experiment with your ideal ratios. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and set that behind me. I'm gonna give this bad boy another taste. Yeah, it's lovely. That's sweet, it's syrupy, it's delicious. Excellent. Okay, that is all set. That is all ready to go for today. My water is now aggressively boiling. And so, my friends, we are going to begin cooking the eggs. And I'm going to teach you all how to make perfect hard-boiled eggs, soft-boiled eggs, any kind of eggs that you're looking for that peel off easily. But before we do so, I need to hear another resounding yes, chef, from everybody watching, please, and thank you. I'm gonna pull out some eggs. And we'll talk about these eggs, and we'll talk about how to achieve that end result, how to get that final product that we're looking for. Where did I put those eggs? Where did I put them? Wait, what? Okay, there it is. I found my carton of eggs. Okay, for today, I think I'm gonna do maybe 4 ramen eggs or so to make it worth my time. So, first off, in the case of making hard-boiled eggs, soft-boiled eggs, any kind of boiled eggs, you want stale eggs. Now, that might seem a little counterintuitive. Why would a stale egg be good ever in any context? A stale egg is ideal in this case, my friends, because as the egg gets older, it pushes out more water. It does not stick to its own membrane nearly as easily. Okay, so really, really important. We're going to make sure that we're using some nice stale eggs. It really helps. Could you use fresh eggs? Absolutely. But your probability of them sticking goes up significantly higher. So the week-old eggs, those are the ones that you want to use, the couple week-old eggs. Okay, and we're going to begin by using one of my favorite kitchen tools, my friends. This is called a spider. Okay, and we're using a spider because it is a lovely way to gently lower things into a pot of boiling water. Now, your eggs will crack if you just drop them into the boiling water because it'll hit the bottom. Okay, so guys, you gotta get in there. You gotta get close. You gotta get personal. You need to use a spider. So watch this. We're going in with our spider and we're just going to gently lower it in. Do not drop it in. Treat this like a baby. Do not drop it. Otherwise, they're not going to come out correctly. Okay? That's what happens when you drop babies. So hope that helps. So everybody, add it in. And now you just want to aggressively boil it for 30 seconds or so. This sets the outside. This helps the egg to not stick. But after the 30 seconds, we drop it to a simmer and we slowly cook it for 7 minutes because that helps for the egg to evenly cook. If you were to entirely cook this egg start to finish in pure boiling water, you will have a rubbery overcooked white and an undercooked inside and some really mucousy parts of the egg white that are just not all that favorable. So aggressively boiling, really out there right now. Now, take it and drop it to a simmer. Gently cook it at this stage, my friends. Gently cook it. Simmer, timer, maybe 7.5 minutes or so. Okay, I'm gonna set it to 8. These are extra large eggs. 7.5 minutes is going to be the best amount of time. If they accidentally come out a little bit too done, then, we'll live with it. We'll go ahead and figure it out. So, simmer it, my friends. Simmer it. Be really nice and gentle. Lemon Brushed, welcome on in. You said, okay, Ramsay? I take great offense to being called Gordon Ramsay, to be compared to him, because I know better than him. And he's a bit of a sellout. So I take great offense to such a thing. Please be mindful. I'm only messing with you a little bit. So guys, gently cook those eggs now. Gently cook them, gently simmering away, gently bubbling away. That is exactly what we're looking for. And every now and then, we're just gonna go ahead and take these bad boys and just move them around slightly. Don't lift them up. Please don't lift them up and drop them. You don't wanna crack those egg whites. We just wanna make sure that the egg is cooking as evenly as humanly possible. So, that's going, that's happening. In the meantime, we need to prepare something that is called an ice bath. Now, why do we want an ice bath? What is an ice bath going to do for us? Well, everybody keep in mind this. Eggs, they're fleshy, they're thick. If you take them out of the boiling water and rinse them in cool water, they still hold onto a lot of the heat. They hold onto a lot of the heat and they continue to stay warm. And if we allow them to continue to stay warm, they're going to end up overcooking, and our dream, our passion of having a beautiful creamy egg yolk inside, it's gonna be gone. So we want a nice ice bath. We want an ice bath that's ice cold to what's called shock the eggs. We shock it and we stop the cooking process. Everybody, in all cooking, there is some amount of carryover cooking. There's parts of it that are going to be hot and continue to cook. So we need an ice bath. It is essential so that we immediately stop that process of cooking. I am going to go ahead and just use the bowl where we made the marinade. I'm going to go ahead and put the marinade into a separate bowl. Does anybody have any questions for me? Ooh, it's built up pressure. It's going to be perfect. It's going. It's going. It's doing its thing. I'm just going to go ahead and grab a nice little container that is going to properly accommodate my volume of eggs. And I'm going to go ahead and pour it in. Just like so. All of my mirin, my sugar, my soy sauce, all of that going inside. Is that a new mic? Serena, it shouldn't be a new mic. What do you mean? Wait, guys, I have a question. Do I sound different today? Oh no, wait, is my camera visible? What do you mean visible mic? Oh, you're talking about this guy? No, this is the same one as before. You mean my overhead camera? Guys, I accidentally have my camera in the shot and nobody told me. That was my camera. That's this guy. That's this guy right here that I neglected to put down low enough. Okay, everybody, that is my marinade. That's all set. That's all ready to go. And now it is essential that I go ahead and I grab some ice cubes. I'm gonna grab some ice cubes and I'm gonna go ahead and get my ice bath ready. Okay, the production value goes crazy. Eskia, not the time, not when I mess up. You can do it any time other than when I mess up, please and thank you. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and grab some nice ice cubes, my friends, and just get my ice bath nice and ready. Again, this might seem a little bit excessive for what is essentially just a boiled egg, but I promise you, this is how you end up with perfectly cooked eggs every single time, okay? I'm just getting some ice cubes out. I want to hear a nice yes, chef, please and thank you from everybody watching. I want to make sure that you all understand the importance of my mission. I'm off camera because getting these ice cubes out of the ice tray is a bit of a disaster. And super, super annoying. Why does ice stick to itself? Can somebody explain to me in physics terms? Because I don't like it. And I wish it would stop doing that sometimes. Okay? The pressure cooker has officially built up pressure. It is nice and hot inside of that pot. And I'm still just trying to desperately get even one cube of ice off this massive block of ice. But everybody, I think it might be over. I don't think there is any feasible way for me to get more ice cubes out. It's frozen over completely. It's frozen over on itself. It's over. Okay, I was able to extract what is truthfully a pathetic amount of ice cubes. Look at it. Also, that's not enough yes chefs. Everybody try that one more time. I want a nice resounding yes chef, please and thank you. So, that is a pathetic amount of ice cubes for an ice bath. I'm going to go ahead and fill this with some nice ice cold tap water. My eggs are boiling. They're getting nice and cooked. Maybe boiling a little too aggressively. Move those bad boys around one more time. And they'll be almost done, my friends. Ice cold water, the coldest possible water that you can get from your tap. Please and thank you. Excellent. Lovely. So, that's going. That's doing its thing. The eggs are almost done, everybody. They have about 1.5 minutes left on the clock. And again, roughly for soft-boiled eggs, 6.5 minutes to 8 minutes on average is the amount of time that you're looking for. But that depends. It depends on a couple of things. It depends on altitude. It also depends on the size of your eggs. Okay, but we're gonna do our best. If it doesn't come out perfectly soft-boiled, then that's gonna be okay too. Gently cook it, my friends. Gently, 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 gently. Keep it cooking along. Let it go ahead and do its thing. We're going to shock it, and then we're going to submerge it inside of the ice bath to let it easily peel. I'm going to show you how to perfectly peel eggs every single time, that you do not end up with eggs that are completely deformed and destroyed. It is especially essential in a soft-boiled egg, guys. So let it go. Let it gently cook, nice and slowly. I'm gonna go ahead and grab my ice bath. Okay, all set, just like so. And we're gonna go ahead and put it in, and it'll be great. In the meantime, my marinade got done. Once again, just some soy sauce, some mirin, some water, and some sugar. Really simple flavors, but it's gonna be sweet, it's gonna be salty, and it's gonna be delicious above all else. The ice melts and refreezes, keeps your ice from getting warm. Keeping your ice from getting warm should help. Yeah, exploding live. I think that's what just ended up happening in my freezer. At some point or another, somebody left the freezer open. My freezer stays cold. I think this was just from the previous tenant that we still have some of their ice. I would never do such a thing. So, everybody, my eggs are now done. Take them and shock them in the ice cold water. Shock them. Now, once again, I wish I had more ice cubes than my pathetic, measly amount of ice cubes here. I wish I did too. Don't worry, we're all the same here. Okay, so just move it around, get it nice and cooled off, rotate it, and then guys, we're going to begin trying to crack the eggs. The key to perfectly peeled eggs. I need to hear yes, chef. The key to perfectly peeled eggs is letting the water separate the flesh of the egg from the membrane. I'm gonna say it again. The key to perfectly peeled eggs is letting the water get in between the shell and the egg itself. So, in order to do so, we're going to need to break up the eggs as they cool, and the water is going to slip inside. We don't want to smash and destroy these eggs. You need to be gentle. You need to be delicate. You need to consider that this is a soft-boiled egg. And a soft-boiled egg, guys, it is also soft. It is soft, it is malleable, okay? And you don't want to be too rough and too aggressive with it. Be gentle, treat her nicely. So take it and tap, 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 just like so, and put it back inside. Take it and tap, 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 tap. Just like so. Don't smash it, my friends. Do not rupture that egg. Gently, gently, tap, 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 tap. Gentle, gentle. Do not squash it. Do not destroy that beautiful egg inside. Ready? Take it and just tap it. Just tap it, tap it, tap it till you hear that crunch. Tap it, tap it, tap it, tap it, tap it, tap it. Beautiful. That's it. And now, my friends, letting it soak back into the ice cold water, the water slips in between the shell and the egg itself. You'll sometimes be able to see a couple of little bubbles rising up to the top, rising up to the occasion. Okay, we're done with our spider food now. We're not gonna need that for a good bit of time. And so we're just letting that cool off. Ideally, we would give this about 15 minutes. Now, given how old these eggs are, I'm going to go and say confidently that I don't think that it needs that much time. I think that these eggs are going to peel off beautifully, and we're going to go ahead and see that happen in real time. Ready? Is everybody ready for my beautifully, perfectly peeled eggs every single time? Is everybody ready to see how they come out? You're gonna see. You're gonna watch, and you're gonna see it happen. Doing this under running water would be ideal, but I'm going to do this in front of all of you for dramatic effect in this case. Okay? Take it and crack it open. And just gently going back into the water to peel off all of the little remaining tiny bits of shell. And you can just see, my friends, it slips off. It slips off. It slips off. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. That's a perfectly peeled egg. Remember, what we did, we used a slightly older egg, not the freshest egg in the world, because older eggs will peel easier, my friends. Look at the egg. Look at the egg. Look at the egg. Be gentle. This isn't a hard-boiled egg. This isn't going into an egg salad. You want to marinate these bad boys, so do not destroy them. Go gentle. Go slow. And look at that. Is that a beautifully peeled egg, if I've ever seen one? This is what I do to people on the internet. I crack their eggs. Sorry. Lowbrow, not funny. Didn't laugh. Okay, look at this beautiful egg. Look at this beautiful egg, huh? Okay, perfectly peeled. It's not that I have skills, Askia. It's that I have theory. It's that I have fundamentals. And I am here to pass on that theory and fundamentals onto you. You can make perfectly peeled eggs every single time. Let me tell you something right now. Your mom does not know how to make perfectly peeled eggs. I know how to do it better. And you can too. All right? Sorry, this is specifically to my mom. My mom, her hard-boiled eggs don't peel up all that great. And I tell her how to do it, and she doesn't always listen to me. And I wish she did sometimes. But guys, try to tell your parents, tell your mom, tell anybody that you can. How much pressure can they take? Not a lot. So be gentle with these babies. So give them a little kiss and tuck them in goodnight. Put them into the marinade, my friends. Let's go ahead and grab the next egg, and hopefully, with a little bit of luck, it's going to peel up just as easily. You ready for this? Take it and crack that bad boy open. Crack it open. Get it under the water, my friends. Do it under the water. Let the water help you. The water is there to help separate the shell. Okay? There's a faster way to do it. So there are faster ways to peel eggs, but not a soft-boiled egg, Honey Peach Crush, because these guys are delicate. What is your faster way to do it? Other than doing it in like running water over the faucet. No water needed. What are you talking about, Sunny Peach Crush? You talking about just eating it whole? Just eating it as is? Oh no, I kind of cut into the flesh there. That was my fault. Okay, get it back under the water. Get it back in there. This guy's membrane is a little bit more tricky to deal with. I was not able to effectively get under the membrane very much, but it's still peeling off very nicely, really easily. Just keep peeling, my friends. Keep peeling. Bonjour, Count JP. Bonjour. Welcome on in. We're peeling up some soft-boiled eggs for my ramen today. I love ramen eggs. Now, this could have been an entirely vegan ramen dish had I not done these eggs. But guys, the ramen eggs are indispensable to my ideal ramen experience. Have I tried a tablespoon? You can do a tablespoon, Sunny Peach Crush, but you can easily cut into the egg white. And so that is why I am not using a tablespoon. You can easily cut into the egg white if you're not being careful enough. Okay, and if you do that, well, then your egg yolk is basically ruined at this point. You bet this would feel good? Guys, I wish this were me. Okay, so in this case, what happened was my membrane was a little bit more tricky. I wasn't able to just peel off my egg shell in one shot, but it's still peeling off just fine. I only trust Chinese grandmas with the tablespoon. That's right, Tarina. I am neither a grandma nor am I Chinese. So I feel like I am not necessarily one to do that in this case. Okay, so take it and expose it and open it up and open it up and open it up gently and keep peeling, guys. Keep peeling. Keep it peeling. Keep it peeling. Keep it peeling. Keep it all peeling. And finally, I was able to slip under the membrane. Finally, that took forever to be able to do. And off it goes. And you gotta be careful not to peel back too much of it. Guys, this soft-boiled egg, not the best. Not the best. This one was a little bit tricky. But every now and then you'll find one that's tricky. That's just life. Not all of them will be perfect. Not all of them will be consistent. Most of them will be though. All right, all of mine will be excellent. Okay, so getting back in there. Cracking this bad boy. Chef, exclamation mark menu doesn't work. Yeah, today my command is a little bit broken today. So I am afraid that I was not able to do it. For whatever reason, Moobot did an update and it was doing the previous recipe. Love a person who has passion for something. Well, Landed Miss, thank you. That's very sweet of you. Today was a bit of an off day. And so, I'm glad they were able to still appreciate that in spite of it. So welcome on in. Welcome to the best cooking show on Twitch. I hope you're having an excellent day today, Landed Mist. So guys, keep peeling. We're going nice and gentle. Nice and gentle under the water again. Look at this. Look how perfect my egg is, huh? You wish this was you. You wish I was doing this to you. What is the human equivalent of this? This is just like me peeling off like your skin. That actually is like, ugh, that's like dermaplaning. We're effectively dermaplaning the eggs. Okay? That's what we're doing to them. Get in there. Almost done, my friends. Almost peeled. Almost peeled. Get them back into the water. Wash off those little bits of shell. Beautiful. Look at that egg. Beautiful. Gorgeous. God, I wish this were me. Okay. Look at that egg. Into the marinade. Last but not least. Last egg. Might add soft boiled eggs to my to cook list. Absolutely exploding live. They're beautiful. They're runny on the inside. They're so delicious. I love soft boiled eggs. I don't even just love marinated eggs. But honestly, guys, I should be doing more marinated eggs. They're so rewarding because eggs, unlike meat, actually soaks up marinades. There is so much mystique around marinades. There is so much romanticization of marinades, my friends. But honestly, marinating eggs actually works. Eggs, they really soak it up like nobody else, and it is so special. It is so special, and it is so phenomenal, and I love me a good marinated egg. So getting in there and peeling it off, and peeling it off, peeling it off, peeling it off, peeling it off, using the side of my thumb, going so gently, so gently. Oh, sometimes not so gently. Sometimes we can just take a whole chunk off. Beautiful. Put it back into the water to get rid of any little tiny bits of eggshell. And now, my friends, I am proud to say that we have officially accomplished a bunch of beautifully peeled eggs inside of a marinade. Look at these bad boys. They're in here. The only thing is, they are going to need, here's a little trick that I picked up from doing pickled onions. Grab a paper towel, a food safe paper towel, of course, fold it up and put it inside. And what this does, the paper towel soaks up the marinade so that it is able to still continuously keep the eggs not exposed to the air. Because if it's exposed to the air, it's just going to not get marinated on that side. Is that soy sauce? So Landed Mist, inside of here is a mixture of mirin, which is a sweet rice wine, sugar, soy sauce, and water. So roughly a 2-to-1 ratio of water to the mixed soy sauce and mirin. Okay, you put a little paper towel on top, and this makes a world of a difference, my friends. And these ramen eggs, ideally 4 to 6 hours. I don't have 4 to 6 hours. This is a live cooking show. We have like an hour or two maybe. Is it still gonna be delicious? Absolutely. Is it gonna be at the height of how delicious it can be? No, but it'll still be great. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab a little lid for this guy. I'm gonna get a lid and put him away. Does anybody have any questions for me at this juncture, at this point in time? Grab a lid, box it up. Okay. And then everybody, just like in a restaurant, at home, I always date and label my containers. Always. Because sometimes you forget what something is. You forget when you made it. In the interest of good food safety practices, my friends, I always date and label everything. Do you have the ones you made earlier, like on TV? Sunny Peach Crush? That actually would have been a great idea to have like a stunt doubled, marinated egg here. Okay. Beautiful. So, ramen egg, 8.25. Because I'm not just gonna eat these today, of course. These are gonna be delicious. These are gonna be nice and marinated. You always cook so chill. How do you feel about cooking in a restaurant kitchen where everything has to move fast? So Count JP, I feel like I've never been told that I cook chill before. I don't think I've ever been told that in my life. I'm sorry. How do I feel about in a restaurant environment? Well, here's the thing, Count JP. If you know what you're doing on the line, in a restaurant environment, everybody has very specific defined roles. There's not a lot of improvisation that goes on. Okay, and so the answer is, if I am experienced with the dish that I am making and I know what I'm doing, then I'll feel nice and comfortable. I don't particularly have a lot of professional restaurant experience, right? I apprenticed when I was younger, and that was a really fun experience, but other than that, not a whole lot. So I don't think I'm gonna be necessarily the best guy to ask about that kind of a thing. So, everybody, we can now chill out for a second, because we did all the heavy lifting. So, little recap session. I want to hear a nice resounding yes, chef, from everybody watching, please and thank you. We've accomplished 2 things so far. First, we've begun a beautiful vegetarian stock, completely vegetarian, my friends, inside of my pressure cooker pot. We charred onion, we charred ginger, we charred scallions, and we charred garlic. We washed up some leeks. We have dried shiitake mushrooms and fresh shiitake mushroom stems. It's all coming together, and it's going to give us a beautiful, delicious, aromatic broth. Okay, next, we also worked on some really lovely marinated eggs, my friends. So for the eggs, we soft boil them. Okay, we got them all ready to go. We got them nicely soft boiled. And then we went ahead and we made a mixture of soy sauce, of mirin, a little bit of water, and a little bit of sugar. They're gonna get nice and sweet. They're going to get super, super flavorful. And the reason why I love marinating eggs is because it actually works. Let me tell you guys something right now. Most marinades are not real, especially on a piece of meat. They're superficial. They penetrate maybe like a 1/16 of an inch, but they don't go further than that. But eggs actually soak it all up. Chef, do you wear a hairnet in the kitchen? Absolutely not, Sunny Peach Crush. I'm gonna tell you why. I love my long, beautiful hair. And if somebody gets hair in their food, you know, I'm mostly cooking for myself here, right? If I'm cooking for somebody else, I usually tie up my hair. They'll also deal with it. My food is so good that I can afford to look beautiful in the kitchen that people can just deal with it sometimes, I think, quite frankly. If I was doing this in a professional setting, of course I'd be wearing a hairnet, right? But in my case, if one of my guests finds a hair in their food, guess what? I have enough, you know, I think I have enough like clout and merit at this point that I can just do it. I can just say, hey, I'm important enough that you can disregard this, that my food is that good that you can disregard this. I think a hair in food is like annoying, of course, but it's not like unhygienic in a sense of like it's not gonna carry disease. Right? The same way like saliva and body fluids will, right? So it's fine. So point is, yes, I don't want hair in my food. It's just, I don't care and it's not gonna kill me. That's right. If I get hair in a food that I like ordered at like a restaurant and there's like one hair on it, I will live. I'm not going to send it back and ask for a completely new one. It is not so sacrilegious to me to have, you know, to have that. Okay, next. Everybody, for my broth component, we're going to need a little bit of baked sweet potato, okay? Because the sweet potato itself is going to get blended into the stock. Now, what does that mean? Why? I cannot post the comment I was thinking of, I see. Exploding live. So, the sweet potato, because this is an entirely vegan broth, my friends, it's going to provide a little bit of richness and it's also going to provide a little bit of sweetness. So, I'm going to grab half a sweet potato. I have one lovely sweet potato right here. We're not going to need so much of it though. I'm gonna grab it and I'm just gonna go ahead and slice this bad boy in half. And it's a sweet potato, so you guys already know that cutting them sometimes is a little bit tricky. This is gonna get blended up. This bad boy I'm gonna put into my fridge and do something else with in the future. I don't really love sweet potatoes all that much. I find them to be a little bit one note sometimes. But honestly, in this case, in this context, because it's gonna be blended in, it's gonna be a part of the greater whole, okay? So, sweet potato, we're gonna go ahead and peel off that skin, guys. I got a nice handy dandy sharp peeler as always. Grab it and peel it, and peel it, and peel it all off. And if your peeler is dull and you're struggling to go through the vegetable, then congrats, it's time for you to go ahead and get a new peeler. So peel it, and peel it, and peel it, and get all the way through with it, my friends. Get all the way done with it. Get all of that dirty skin off, okay? And we'll just go ahead and cut it up into little cubes. Cubes, roast it, blend it in, and it'll be perfect. So peel it off, peel it off, peel it up, peel it up, peel it up. Get all that skin out of there, my friends. We don't want any of the skin inside of the final product. Excellent, beautiful. Next, take it and just cut it up into little rounds first. We want a nice stable side, so in fact we might just do it like this. Cut it directly in half. And so everybody, really, really important, especially with something like a sweet potato, you do not want to chop it too much. No vertical motion. You want to slice through it. If you chop it like this, it's going to cleave and you're not going to get an even wedge. So guys, when I say slice it, I mean slice it, because that way, look how nice and flat my plank is. You want to slice it. You want to slice it. You want to slice it. Okay, let's try that again. Ready? Take it and slice it, and slice it, and slice it, and slice it. Amazing. Chef, what is your favorite dessert? Really good question. Honestly, if I were like 13, I would say a chocolate lava cake. I love chocolate lava cakes. I love them so much. I find them so endearing. Okay, and then I'm just gonna go ahead and cut this bad boy up into chunks. Something good for roasting, just like so. Beautiful, beautiful. But yeah, a chocolate lava cake, because like when I was a kid, you know, I loved going to steakhouses. I love going to steakhouses. I love, of course, like steakhouse affair. I feel like a chocolate lava cake is like level 1 considered restaurant fancy. you know, in a way. It's considered a little bit fancy. It's considered like a little bit out there. And so I've grown to have quite an association with it. Otherwise, as far as my favorite desserts go, anything made with integrity, anything that I think has a lovely balance of like acidity and sweetness. So for example, I love lemon tarts. I love key lime pie, right? I love the acidity of a key lime pie in contrast with that sweetness and the creaminess. That's always my favorite, guys. I love it when desserts feature fruit in that kind of a bold context. Not just like, you know, a shitty diner cheesecake with Costco branded Kirkland strawberry sauce on it. Awful, terrible, not that. I mean like a vibrant, fruit-forward, acidic-y thing, but that is in the context of something that is very sweet. I love that kind of a contrast, guys. So key lime pie is what does it for me. So that's my answer for you, Sunny Peach Crush. So we're gonna go ahead and grab all of my sweet potatoes. And guys, just as before, this is going to bake. And I need to hear the yes chef right now, please and thank you. I don't want you to oil up the potatoes on the sheet tray. Because think about it this way. You put the potatoes down, you try to season it, you try to oil it up, and you don't mix it up evenly. You try to mix it up, something flies out of there. Nonsense. Guys, use the dish, use the bowl, toss it inside of the bowl. Because watch this, watch this. I'm gonna take a little splash of oil now. Little splash of oil, gonna help to make sure that the potatoes don't stick. It's going to make sure that the heat conducts nice and evenly, and it's going to help keep it all nice and crispy. Watch this. We're going to salt it up, right? Generously, right? Ready? Toss it. The salt coats it evenly this way. Toss it up, toss it up, toss it up. Your seasoning coats it evenly. There's no little blind spots inside of it, right? That's it. Nice and evenly oiled, and there's no excess oil on the sheet tray. Guys, if you oil the sheet tray, all of that excess oil is just gonna be pooled around it and it's going to burn. By oiling and seasoning it up inside of the bowl, okay? We just allow it to coat it evenly without having too much oil on the sheet tray that could just end up smoking everything up. We have as much oil as we need. The vegetable is self-regulating, my friends. It knows what it wants. She's independent. Okay, so half a sweet potato, just about. Gonna go ahead and grab my foil and wrap up my sheet tray and just put it on. We're gonna put it on, we're gonna keep it nice and separate, make sure that they all have some good space from each other. Bam, look at these bad boys. Shake them up, break them up. All set and all ready to go, my friends. Nice and heavily salted, nice and heavily oiled to make sure that it doesn't stick. And now it is properly inside of the sheet tray. It's going to go into about a 400-degree oven for 20 to 25 minutes. We just want it slightly roasted. We don't want it charred. We just want it nice and soft and nice and cooked through. Okay? So, and it goes. 400 degrees, 20 to 25, something along those lines, my friends. Get it going, get it cooked, and get her done. Whew. We have a lot going on. Today's a busy day today. We have so many different components that we need to juggle. We have the sweet potato, we have the bokchoy, we have the eggs, we have the ramen broth, we have the noodles. There's a lot going on, and yet we're able to get all of it done in spite of that. Okay? Does anybody have any questions for me in the meantime? Any questions, any comments, any concerns? So, what do we actually have left to do today in that case? I'm going to quickly wash off my knife because this is a carbon steel knife and I don't want it to rust. And so we have to make sure that we are consistently washing it. Washing it and heavily drying it. So as to ensure that it stays okay. And now everybody, now that we have a little bit of downtime, this is also the time that we take to clean. So, super, super important. Guys, in cooking, you need to know your passive time and your active time. When things are baking, when stuff is boiling, when you get to walk away, don't sit down. Don't sit down, don't stop moving, okay? All you wanna go ahead and do is just keep figuring out all the different things that you can in the kitchen. If your dishwasher isn't empty yet, then let's empty it out, right? If your sink is full of dishes, let's go ahead and do some dishes right now. If you have seasonings and condiments that you can put away, now is going to be the time to do so. So in my case, you know, I have my dried mushrooms that I have no more use for. My dried mushrooms, I can go ahead and officially put them away once and for all. We're not going to need them for a considerable amount of time, right? So into the pantry they can go. Rather, this is a massive, massive sack of dried mushrooms I have here. I'm gonna put it all the way up on this top shelf that I could barely reach. Keep your kitchen clean, everybody. I'm here to show you how fun and exciting cooking at home can be. I don't want to show you how to do a million different things and then leave you with a mess. I would never do that to you. So, Chopin Chris, you asked me what kind of noodles I'm going to use. I have an answer. I have an answer. Here you go. Instant ramen noodles, whatever you have. Ideally, you would just buy a pack without the seasoning packet. I'm not going to be using the seasoning packet today, but that's what I'm going to use. They're perfectly fine, they're great, and they're excellent. I'm going to tell you this right now. I am not in the business of making my own ramen noodles because they are exceptionally difficult and not realistic to do in a home setting. Guys, I love cooking, I love food, and I love being in the kitchen, but I am here to make cooking fun at home. I don't think, unless you are obsessed with ramen noodles, unless you absolutely love them and you want to do it over and over again, you don't want to make your own ramen noodles. They are pretty technical. So, either dried, or if you could buy fresh raw noodles, sometimes you can go into a ramen shop and ask them directly. Or if you have like a Sun noodle supplier somewhere, you can go ahead and get those. And sometimes supermarkets in the frozen section will carry fresh frozen ramen noodles. I am going to be using instant. These are perfectly fine. So fine, don't overthink it, okay? Have you seen a Japanese girl in a trashed up apartment run over by insects? I sure have, Count JP. And I don't need her. Anybody says that they need her, don't know what they're talking about, all right? I think collectively, people have already like stopped trashing on instant ramen noodles already. I feel like they've undergone a bit of a pretentious culinary resurgence. I mean, I love plenty of different instant ramens. I love Shin Black. That is my favorite brand. But guys, in my case, I'm just using the cheapest kind. I'm using the cheapest kind. I'm using some top ramen because I just need some dried ramen noodles for today. Okay? And we're gonna be breaking some conventions. We'll be cooking it in the broth instead of in a separate pot of water because who cares? We're already using instant noodles and it'll be fine. So Shin Ramen. Next, what do we actually need to go ahead and get done? Well, we have a few more components that we need to prep. The next thing, my friends, is going to be the corn element for today, okay? So this is a little bit more of a modern styled ramen. And I need you all to understand something. A lot of American culture, Western culture, but specifically American culture, has really seeped its way into East Asia, for better or for worse. In Korean food, you can see this with how much cheese is being used. American cheese and mozzarella. It is all over the place. In, you know, a lot of different cuisines, it's especially Spam and like little sausages. In Japanese cuisine, one of the biggest things that you've started to see, as well as in Korean food, my friends, is corn. You're seeing little bits of corn all over the place. And this, you know, started, I want to say maybe in the 80s and the 90s or so, that like corn as a ramen topping really picked up, but it is one of my favorites. Okay, I love that little bite of sweetness that the corn gives inside of some ramen. We're not going to be using any canned corn. Guys, we're going to be charring the corn. We're going to be roasting the corn. It's going to be so flavorful and it's going to make for the best topping. So, I have a whole cob of corn. I'm just peeling it up. Peeling it up. I realized I never set a timer for my potatoes. I think it's been cooking for 8 minutes or so at this point. I peel them up. And guys, I have not found out a better way. Okay, let's not be worried about this. Do they have ramen in Japan? Yeah, Count JP, a few places. 1 or 2. Not that well known, you know, some import. Right? Guys, actually, really good question there, Count JP. Because ramen came from China. That specific style of chewy egg noodle, it is Chinese. So there you go. That's your little fun factoid for today. Okay? They have corn in Japan. Yes, they do now. But the specific utilization of corn as a ramen topping, it is directly with the influence of American cuisine. So guys, there is no better way to get rid of the little tiny husks of corn than to just jerk it. I wish there was a better way to say that, and I wish this was like a little less embarrassing, I guess, to do on camera. But you have to do this. Also, I am curious, is Chinese baby corn actually corn, Serena? Because there's something about it that feels very distinctly different. Guys, take it and jerk it. Jerk it, get it off, get all those little tiny fibers, get them out of there. We don't need them. We have no use for that. I always just assumed, yeah, I always assumed as well. Serena, could you give us a Google search? Because I'm really, really curious about that, or somebody else in chat. Okay, get all those little fibers off, get all of those little husks off. Okay, and I think we went ahead and we did it. So 1 cob of corn. Again, why do we do whole cob of corn? It's because we get to char it, guys. This is the inspiration that I take especially from Mexican cuisine. Corn, when it gets charred, when it gets grilled like elotes, it becomes so smoky, it becomes so fragrant. In ramen shops, you don't really often see charred corn, but I love charred corn as a topping, guys. I love charred corn as a condiment. It is one of my favorite things ever. So corn, ready to go, ready to happen. Next, you can't have, quite firmly, it is impossible, dare I even say illegal, to have ramen without scallions. Okay? And when I say without scallions, I mean like an aggressive amount of scallions. This is all going to be for 1 bowl of ramen, by the way. So we're going to go ahead and get that bad boy ready. Veha breha, welcome on in. It is lovely to have you. So, an aggressive amount of scallions. You can never have too many scallions. Mac and cheese goes great with Sichuan peppercorns. Exploding live, that sounds delicious. But I have to say, I don't really like spicy or too flavorful mac and cheeses. I've realized I like mac and cheese because I can turn my brain off when I eat it. There is something so simple and textural about that experience. This is not, okay, I'm autistic, but this is not in an autistic way. There's just like, there's like certain foods that are like really, really comfortable for me, right? Okay, and mac and cheese specifically, I like it when I don't have to think very much when I eat it, right? Oh, I see, interesting. So baby corn literally is baby corn. Oh, since sugars do not start accumulating until after the pollination. So it's unpollinated corn. That makes sense. Thank you for sharing, Turina. Okay. So, it's not really like a baby corn. It's more like a, what is that term in science called? There is the zygote. That's when they form. But when you have half the amount of sex chromosomes, what's that called again? It's been a long time. Gamete corn? Is it a gamete? I believe it's a gamete. Okay, so less of a baby corn. This is more of like a gamete in that case. Because a zygote, right, is when the sperm meets the egg and now it has a full set of sex chromosomes, right? So there is a greater classification for what like sperm and eggs are classified under. So I forgot what that is. Not to get like, I need you all to understand that I was grading my biology teacher's like students' papers every day after school. I loved hanging out with my biology teacher. Okay, I was really good at biology when I was in high school, and I miss it sometimes. So I guess some of that knowledge has ended up leaving me over time. Okay, scallion whites and scallion greens. We're going to be completely indiscriminate. Now, everybody, for my ideal ramen, I love a thinly sliced scallion. I don't love too big of pieces. Okay, I want it super, super thinly sliced. A sperm and an egg or gametes, excellent. So it sounds like the corn is not baby corn, and we need to petition to it. No, not his home count JP, it was at school. It was like after hours, and I got extra credit. Then I helped him grade papers. He was very great. I'm not going to say his name to not like dox myself or anything, but he is responsible for a lot of the person that I am today in a lot of ways. So guys, thinly slice it. Do not chop it. If you chop it, watch what happens, everybody. Watch what happens. Thin slice, ready? Look what happens if I chop. I'm going to do this once and only once. Watch this. And chop. It came off. The knife cleaved out. When you chop, your knife does this. It leaves the vegetable. You need to use the full length of the knife, guys, with minimal vertical force for a beautiful slice. Straight down, slice it, slice it, slice it, slice it, slice it. It's just like so, guys. Slice it up. And guys, one of my favorite combinations of all time is fresh scallions and charred corn. Buttery sweet corn, charred scallions, or fresh scallions rather. There's almost nothing else quite like it. So slice it, and 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 slice it. Just like so, nice and thin, guys. Go nice and slow. Remember, this is for the topping. You don't want a very thick, aggressive bite of scallion. You want it to be nice and thin so that it disappears inside of your palate. If you have a big chunk, it'll completely overtake it. A ramen is about balance. A beautiful ramen is about balance. And thin scallions are inoffensive. They don't have too much presence. They're not too loud. You want to make sure that everybody has an equal opportunity to speak. Okay? So get in there and slice her up. Slice her up. Slice her up. Slice her up. Slice it up. Beautiful. Look at those slices. Look at my perfectly sliced scallions, guys. Nice and thin, all the way through, just like that, yeah? Now, this guy is abnormally thick. He's going to be a little bit tricky to cut. I'm just going to grab the rest of this green and just get that nice and sliced and ready to go for today. Look at these scallions, yeah? Perfect. Beautiful. Excellent. Guys, I love scallions. I love scallions so much. I want to hear a nice yes chef from everybody if you like scallions. Chat, do we like scallions here? Do we like green onions? Thinly slice. Thinly slice. And this guy's too annoying to even consider continuing to deal with. All right. No, chef. Eskia. You do not like... Whoa. Uh-oh. That might be the one preference I don't think I have any tolerance for whatsoever. Last night, I went to a party. A lovely friend invited me out to a party, and I got into an almost argument with somebody over coleslaw. They had coleslaw there for some reason. I think they got it from Popeyes. And somebody didn't like coleslaw, and so I put her on the spot, and I was like, "Why don't you like this?" You know, and then I think she felt put off by it. That's what I do at parties, by the way. I make it about food, and then I interrogate people about it. So I sometimes make people uncomfortable in doing so, but it really comes from a place of trying to understand people. I'm getting better. I'm trying to figure it out. All right, I'm not the best at socializing usually, but I'm getting better. My coin almost fell off my plate, but that's okay. Everybody, let's go ahead and grab these lovely scallions. Look at these bad boys, yeah? Beautiful, gorgeous. Ooh, in she goes. Excellent. Streamer energy. Chef is growing. That's right. I am growing as a person. We're all growing. We're always growing, everybody. So, fresh scallions, fresh corn, that's all going to be integrated. And now, we want to go ahead and check on our beautiful little sweet potatoes. We're going to probably want to give them a flip, just to make sure that they're continuing to evenly cook, my friends. Okay? So, to the stove shot we go. I can go ahead and probably get rid of this saucepan of water. And this is also going to be what we're going to use to cook the mushrooms and the shiitake and the bokchoy. Okay? We're not going to waste any of that flavor. So, grab this. Let's grab my sweet potatoes. And yeah, they're getting nice and cooked. They're getting nice and roasted. All that we're going to do, everybody, is we're just going to give them a little flipping session. A good old Daramgar flipping session. Okay? And if we did it correctly and we properly oiled it, it should not be sticking to my sheet tray in the slightest. And guess what? It is not. Not at all, my friends. Take it and flip it over. Take it and flip it over. And this is all just in the interest of making sure that it all evenly cooks up, my friends. The sweet potatoes are getting nice and soft. They're getting like candy. When we roast them, instead of just boiling them, they develop this incredible depth of flavor. They become so sweet, they become so rich, and they become so delicious. So flip those bad boys, show them who's boss, and go ahead and put them back in. This doesn't look like a lot of sweet potato. Don't forget that sweet potatoes cook down. They shrink up, they lose their moisture. Tech Jansen, welcome on in. Hope you're having an amazing day today. How'd you find the cooking show? So let's go ahead and get those sweet potatoes back on into the oven, and we're just going to cook them until they're all the way soft, and we develop a little bit more color on them. Did I use vegetable oil on those? I used canola oil, Chopin. But you could use any neutral oil. You could use peanut oil, you could use vegetable oil, anything that your heart desires whatsoever. Okay, once again, my knife I am not going to need for a little bit because this is a carbon steel knife. I gotta clean it as we go. Clean it as we go, get her done, get her out of here, show who's boss. Your time is up, buddy. Wash it off, get it done. Excellent. Yeah. Hi. How's everybody enjoying the stream today? I feel like today's show is a little bit chaotic. It's been a bit of a long day. I got to see my friend for lunch. That was nice. But yeah, today's a little bit more all over the place than usual. Are there redeeming or negative things I should know about soy oil? Soybean oil, I don't know a lot about, my friends. I don't know a lot about Serena. I don't cook with soy oil. Wait, is vegetable oil soy oil? Can you look that up for me, Serena? I'm sorry that I keep making you Google things, but if I do remember correctly, vegetable oil is just soybean oil. And if that's the case, then I don't like the taste of vegetable oil as much as I like the taste of canola oil. My favorite neutral cooking oils, guys, canola oil on the cheapest end, peanut oil on the next step up, and then the third level is gonna be avocado oil. Avocado oil has like the least offensive taste of them all. It is completely neutral and it has a pretty high smoke point, although it's just not the cheapest. Peanut oil is used all the time in Chinese cuisine and it has a really nice flavor to it, which I think makes it unique compared to a lot of the neutral oils. It's vegetable oil, not a great taste. Corn oil, kind of inedible. I think corn oil is the one that, like, I will frankly say nobody should ever consume under any circumstance, and you don't need to do that. Okay, have I ever tried diving into African cuisine? So Count JP, it's a little bit tricky to do so. And that's because a lot of the ingredients for African cuisine, specifically the types of chilies and peppers that are used, are not very easily accessible for me. I would love to do a proper jollof rice one day. That would be up there. And I also love all like the different African starch staples. So the way that African cuisine works, guys, and not to like completely generalize an entire continent, but it's the following. Different tribes and different countries and different groups of people, they all have their own starches. Cassava, yuca, potato, corn, and those staple starches are used for a variety of different soups and stews. And I feel like that really defines a lot of the variety within African cuisine, more so than borders of countries. The history of African diaspora and slavery and how much colonization has ruined them has effectively scrambled the position of a lot of different people in the continent. So instead of really following countries and nationalities nearly as much for cuisine, aside from a few of them. Like, for example, Ghanaian food and Nigerian food and Ethiopian food are very, very distinct. It's a lot more useful to sort of look at the way that historically that different tribes have been sort of pushed around. And so what really is the way to look at it is there's a bunch of different staples, and sometimes there's like these sticky doughs, sometimes it's pancakes, sometimes it's more of like a porridge made with cassava, made with yuca, made with potatoes, made with sweet potatoes, made with yams, and all these different things. And that's really the heart and the soul of African cooking. It is stew plus one of these staples depending where you are. That is my perspective on it. Now, both eating wise and cooking wise, I don't have a lot of experience with African food cuisine. My most amount of experience is with Ethiopian food. I love eating Ethiopian food. I love going out to eat with people for Ethiopian food. It is an amazing thing. If you've not gone out for Ethiopian food, Ethiopian restaurants, they will typically, there's this sourdough pancake called injera. And this pancake, you use it to scoop up all the different individual dishes, right? And so much of Ethiopian food is incidentally completely vegan and vegetarian. One of my favorite things is looking at the different cuisines that were not vegan and vegetarian by intention, but just happened that way. So many amazing lentil dishes, potato dishes, cabbage dishes, vegetable dishes, and all of it is so flavorful and delicious. Everybody, I need to hear your chef. If you have not gone out to eat Ethiopian food lately, take a friend, take a loved one, okay? Take somebody that you care about, and go out and get some. I need to hear your chef, please and thank you. It is so important that you go ahead and do so. I don't know any Ethiopian restaurants where I live, sadly. Count JP, Google and make the trip. And if you can't find it, then that's okay too. But Ethiopian food is not something I ever really planned on making for myself because it is a lot of different ingredients that I don't really have access to, and I can't really make injera by myself. Okay. Okay. There's a very good restaurant here in Rotterdam, Eskia. I'm happy to, yeah, that's great. You should go ahead and check that out in that case. So, everybody, I'm going to tell you right now with some amount of confidence that my sweet potato, she's ready. She's done. We're going to go ahead and pull her out now in my rant. That took about 22 minutes, right? Nice and soft. And we're just going to give one of those bad boys a little taste. Imagine sharing a table with Dara IRL, you'll never get in a word. Yeah, that is what it's like going out to eat with me, kind of, sometimes. I don't know. Because normally if it's like I'm taking somebody somewhere, I usually know more than they do. And if I know more than they do, then I'm the one that's going to be doing all the different talking, right? So, kind of, is my answer. Dara level 100 yapper. Oh, that's right, Askia. Absolutely. Okay, everybody, my sweet potato is going to make sure it's nice and soft. It's nice and soft. I don't even have to bite into it. Nice and soft, nice and cooked, and it's going to be blended down. It's going to be blended down so that we add it into the ramen, and it's going to provide a little bit of oomph, a little bit of sweetness. I've based this ramen broth off of the Serious Eats one. Chef, what would it be like if you were eating with Kenji, talking or listening? Talking, discussion, 50-50. That would be a 50-50. Maybe even a 70-30 and letting Kenji talk a little bit more. But I have a place and I have a voice, okay? Guys, there's so many people I'd love to go and get dinner with and to be able to like talk cooking theory with. That just sounds so amazing. That sounds so fulfilling. That sounds wonderful. Okay, sweet potatoes. I'm going to go ahead and grab the chunks and set them aside because we're going to be using the sheet tray to, you guessed it, char the corn. We're going to go back onto a broiling setting. Everybody, my toaster oven is putting in the work today. We don't even have to swap off the sheet tray or anything. I'm just going to go ahead, take my little cubes of potato off. Could I theoretically be using tongs? Would it be easier instead of getting oil and hot potato on my fingertips? Don't ask me. Don't tell me. I know the answer. So let's take all those sweet potatoes off. Take them off. Take them off. Take them off. Excellent. And now we get to reuse the foil. Who is Kenji? J. Kenji Lopez Alt, I feel like has had maybe some of the biggest influence on the approach of home cooks today. J. Kenji Lopez Alt is the guy that became iconic of Serious Eats, the food publication website that got people to really think about the theory and the science of cooking in an actual way. Without really a lot of misinformation. There was so much culinary scientific misinformation that was spread around for years and years. Okay, so everybody, corn. Now, once again, we need a little bit of oil, just a little bit, because the oil is going to help to evenly conduct heat. If the heat is being evenly conducted, it's going to allow the corn to get nice and evenly charred. So, a little bit of oil on a handful. I'm going to make sure that it's nice and covered, and the oil is also going to help the salt. It's going to help the seasoning stick to it as well. Okay, so grabbing a little bit of kosher salt. Now I'm going to go ahead and season it. This doesn't need to be done in a bowl or anything, of course. My pressure cooker is done. It's yelling at me. Please make it stop. Oh my God, shut up. Stop it. I will get to you in a second. Okay, roll it around. Make sure that as much of that salt as possible is covering the corn. And I'm releasing the pressure. Enough out of you. So, corn, salt, boiler. It is time for us to char the corn, my friends. Not just cook it, not bake it, but it's gonna get smoky, it's gonna get sweet, it's gonna get delicious, and it's gonna become so developed in flavor. So, into the broiler she goes until it looks nice and charred. This is basically like grilling corn. This is like elotes, my friends. If you've never had elotes, you are also missing out. Okay, lot going on, so much to do, so little time. Actually, we have plenty of time. We're doing really well on time at the moment. The eggs are in there, and everybody, I can smell the broth. And you know what's amazing? Despite the fact that my ramen broth is completely vegan, it still has that smell. It has that aroma. It has that oomph of a good, delicious, meaty ramen broth. That is the joy of this. So, let me talk about something. Let me talk about why I'm doing this dish. I think a very important aspect of food that is not talked about, and I need to hear yes, chef, please and thank you from everybody watching. A really essential aspect about food that I think people don't value enough, especially in the United States, is food that makes you feel good to eat. I have a lot of, not to get like too gross about it, I have a lot of medical issues that sometimes have to do with digestion. A lot of food kind of doesn't make you feel great to eat. And a lot of restaurant food and the food that we've modeled in our minds as, oh, this is the kind of food I want to eat, this is the kind of food that's delicious, it is so unbalanced in a lot of different ways. Guys, I love rich foods, I love heavy foods, I love sweet foods, I love it all. But I don't love the lack of balance nutritionally speaking. So I'll give you a really good example for this, right? You go out and you're going out for something fried, right? Or like something like a burger. You need to think about the logistics of a place like this. A small burger shop does not have a stove. They don't have a oven. A Jew with a sensitive tummy calling me shocked? That's it, Rod. You're so right. That is the stereotype. That is the stereotype that Jews have. Anyways, so guys, so again, I just need you to consider something really quickly, logistically, right? Okay, so burger place. They have two things. They have a flat top to make burgers and they have a deep fryer. They don't have a pot, they don't have a stove, they don't have an oven. You have prepared condiments that don't need any additional cooking, and then you have things that can be made on a flat top and deep fried. So your meal becomes a burger and a thing of fries. You have a bunch of carbohydrates and a bunch of fat. And again, there's nothing wrong with carbohydrates and fats. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. Okay, carbohydrates and fats, and then the burger, a little bit of protein, but also a little bit of fat and carbohydrates. But there is no fiber. There is no greens. It's all heavy, calorie dense, okay? And all of it at once with a significant amount of volume. As a construct, that kind of food is innately unbalanced. It doesn't make a lot of sense. At least it doesn't to me, right? You get stomach pain almost every single time I go out to eat. That's right, Count JP. Because the food that you go out to eat for is bound and limited by the wants of the consumer who want to eat things that are always tasty and easy to sell, okay? And then you're also bound by the logistics of the place that you go out for. So you eat a burger and you eat fries, okay? And it's just heavy and it's just rich and it doesn't make you feel good afterwards. I feel like so many Americans especially, they never think about the idea, the concept that maybe they don't have to feel that way. So many people, they don't eat well, but that's not me blaming them. That's not me saying, oh, that's their fault. I think people don't know how good it can feel to eat well. I can think about myself. I can think about how much it has helped me in my personal journey with food to eat the kinds of things that make me feel good. I love going out for ramen. I think ramen is delicious, but there's a really big problem with ramen. It's the balance. It's a bunch of carbs and it's a bunch of fat and it's so much volume. And I come out and I have never ever seen a ramen place that has ever offered like a reasonable portion of ramen, right? It is so much all at once. And so I want to be able to cook the kinds of food that make me feel good. So thus this vegetarian ramen. I love eating a lot of vegetables. I love having a lot of fiber inside of my diet. I still love having my protein, hence the mushrooms and the eggs. And I like saving money on meat as well. This is the kind of food that feels good to eat. That's what I'm here to do, guys. I'm here to show you that food isn't just delicious. I'm here to show you how to make food comfortable, how to not resent meals, how to not resent eating. Yeah, how to make the kind of food at home that will go and service you and your needs. This has not always been my development. This is in fact a fairly recent development that I'm considering things nutritionally. I'm growing up a little bit and I'm realizing, hey, I don't have to feel bad all the time. I can be conscious of these things and I can eat things that feel good. There is nothing spiritual or medicinal about this. It is purely thinking about the nutritional value of things and being just aware of, hey, do I feel bad? Do I feel bloated? So, point is, I'm here to get you guys to love vegetables. I'm here to get you guys to love food that is balanced. And I'm here to show you another way. I'm not here to show you a video, right, where I'm making a ridiculous mac and cheese that is completely over the top, that is loaded with cream and butter and sugar and, you know, whatnot, right? I want to show you guys balanced things. When I do my baked pastas, I force an entire head of spinach and I eat a little bit less of it because of how dense it is. So, point is, I just want, it can be different. Think food can be different, guys. And that's really what I'm ultimately getting at. So my stock is done. But before we go ahead and check on the stock, my friends, we're going to go ahead and check on the corn to make sure that it is not getting too burnt on the top, okay? We want to make sure that it's getting nice and charred, nice and evenly. We want a beautifully roasted piece of corn, okay? Just as though we were out grilling, and it doesn't have any color on it whatsoever at this juncture. So leave it alone. Let it do its thing for a little bit longer. And now, guys, we can go ahead and do the reveal of my homemade ramen broth. Okay, entirely vegan broth. The only non-vegan component here is, of course, going to be the eggs. So this is accessible for all of you. This is accessible for those of you that are vegan. There is an option. There is another way. So here we go. And it might be like, hey, this kind of just looks green and it doesn't have any of the richness yet. And that is okay. Guys, it's going to get there. It's going to get there and it's going to get delicious. Now, I want to give it a little taste. Don't worry about the salinity. A lot of the salinity is going to come from the miso paste. I've decided not to do a tare. I'm just going to do miso paste and sesame oil to keep it really, really light and keep it really, really simple, okay? So, we have a vegetable broth, okay? It is based on, once again, let's do a recap. We have dried shiitake mushrooms. We have my mushroom stems, so we get to make the most out of it, okay? We have some leeks. We have some ginger that we charred, we have some garlic that we charred, some scallions, and some onions, okay? In Japanese food, there are so many different kinds of alliums that are used, leeks and onions and scallions, all the time, all of it at once, and they all have a little something different to bring to the party. So, give this bad boy a little tasting session, okay? Guys, I have to say, even as is, it's pretty good. That is an unsalted broth that is completely vegetable liquid. There is no meat. And yet, there is a very delicious endearing component to it so far. Okay? Trust the process. Everybody, are you trusting the process? I want to hear yes, chef. Please and thank you. So, I'm going to use one of my favorite kitchen tools, guys, the handy dandy spider, to get some of these solids out. These solids are devoid of flavor. They've done what they needed to. Okay, the only thing is, I am going to be looking for my garlic cloves inside of here, because hopefully we would be able to press out some of the garlic. Or rather, I think we'll just use a strainer. I think a strainer and then into another vessel is going to be the best way to go about this. And we'll give everything a nice good squeeze. Because even though that's considered bad practice and bad form, we will extract a little bit more flavor out of it that way. Okay, so Let's go ahead and strain it all out. My corn is charring. It's getting nice and roasted. It's getting nice and delicious. I have this pot that we used for the eggs. Let's go ahead and use it for this. Why not? Right? We're saving on equipment. That's what I would like to do. I want to get better at not using a million different pots and pans all the time. So, grab a little baby strainer. And let's pour it in. Pour it in gently, right into the center, really, really carefully. And that pot is not going to be big enough. Oh well, tragic. I'll probably go ahead and strain the rest of it out after, if that's the case. Okay, so we have this beautiful broth. But guys, consider it's not there yet. It's not where it needs to be yet. This is like watching a musician playing their instrument, great stuff. Ron, that is the sweetest thing that I think anyone has ever said to me. That's very kind of you. Wow, that's wonderful. Thank you. I appreciate that a lot, actually. Okay, we're going to go ahead and probably get rid of a little bit of stock because this is heavily overfilled at this stage. Right? Quite overfilled. So I'll just go ahead and pour some of it back into the pot. Again, it's not going to be wasted. I'm just going to go ahead and package it up after the stream. And guys, don't worry about seasoning yet. I promise you, I promise, in fact, that all the seasoning is going to come really, really soon. You just have to trust it. Trust the process. I said something in between process and process, okay? Shaggy Chef, I spaced out. What do they make the stock out of? Good question. Charred onions, charred ginger, charred garlic, charred scallions, leeks, mushroom stems, fresh shiitake mushroom stems, okay? And then dried shiitake mushrooms. So it's aromatic, it's flavorful, but it's not there yet. You know what it's missing, my friends? It's missing richness and it's missing seasoning. So really quickly, I need you all to remember something. In ramen, there is the concept of the broth and the tare. The tare is a seasoning sauce for the broth. The broth tends to be bland. Your broth is not supposed to taste like the finished broth. In my case, my tare, my seasoning, is going to be some miso paste and a little tiny splash of soy sauce and some sesame oil. Okay, and that's going to be lovely and delicious. This is not supposed to be salty at this stage. This is supposed to be bland. But you know what it is missing? It's missing richness. It's missing viscosity. And now is going to be the time where all of that changes once and for all. So, is everybody ready for the blending session? I want to hear another yes, chef, please, and thank you as I set up my blender station. Let's get my blender set up, get it all ready to go for today. My beautiful, gorgeous Vitamix. And all that we're going to go ahead and do, guys, is just blend it up. We're going to blend it up, and it's going to be perfect. All right, so the sweet potato. The sweet potato is the secret ingredient here, okay? Again, not exactly my ramen broth. This is heavily based off of the J. Kenji Lopez Alt Serious Eats vegan ramen broth, but the sweet potato is there to add a little bit of richness. It's going to be perfect. You could thicken it up with a roux. It's a ramen, Ron. There is no need for it to be thick at all. The sweet potato is not there for thickness, okay? So, now that the broth is no longer like boiling, it's still super, super hot. By the way, in order to blend things that are hot, you need an open top blender. I'm gonna say it again. You need an open top blender like a Vitamix. If you have a NutriBullet, you need to let the broth cool down because it builds up heat and pressure and steam inside that can and will cause it to explode. Okay, so if you have a NutriBullet, if you have a Ninja Bullet or something like that, okay, you absolutely must use a, whatchamacallit. You must let it cool down first. Because I have a fancy open top Vitamix, I'm a little bit lucky in that regard. I believe Catherine Queen helped to fund that on my throne wish list. It'll be perfect. Okay, so guys, broth. We're just going to ladle in a little bit. And this is just to make sure that it easily pours out of the blender, right? And also, the benefit of an open top blender, my friends, hot things blend easily. Please don't put me in a blender. I've been confident lately, okay? I feel hot. Please use a nice, if you have an open top blender, this is ideal because the sweet potato is able to much more easily get blended down into a really, really, really fine consistency. Okay, sweet potato goes in. Excellent. I might just probably pull out another pot and call it because I am a little limited on my space here. Sweet potato goes in. Pop it onto the blender. Let's give it a nice little close. And we just want to puree it until it is nice and smooth, my friends. Okay? Nice and smooth, all the way done, and perfect, and ready to go. So just set that bad boy up. She's all set. Off, lowest speed. Begin with the lowest speed. And again, this might seem odd. This might seem odd to do the sweet potato in here, but trust me on this. It's gonna come out sweet, it's gonna come out beautiful. And guys, sweet potatoes, they tend to be fibrous. They have almost like a little hairiness to them. If you try to blend them, if any of you have tried to make like mashed sweet potatoes, you'll know this. Okay, so take it and you wanna go all the way up. You wanna blend the hell out of this. No chunks, no bits, no nothing. Blend it. Oh yeah, blend it. Blend it. Blend it, blend it, blend it. Keep it blending. You want this all the way, my friends. All the way smooth. Almost like we're making a sweet potato soup. Okay? Blend it. Yup, yup, yup. All the way. Give it a little bit more time. Can't over blend it. Dang nice blender, thank you. Okay, and now we can stop. So, the sweet potato puree, that is going to be the base of the ramen broth here, yeah? So, that is the real secret component at the end of the day. I don't oftentimes say secret ingredients, but this is the one that you really do not expect to carry its weight nearly as much as it does in this context. So, grab that, get that all set and all ready to go for today. Can I stack that up on itself? Somehow I did. I don't know if that's going to last, but we're not going to try it. Okay, to the stove, and just pour it in. Pour it all in, my friends. And again, this is going to be a lot more concentrated than it is in its final iteration, because again, we're going to be adding in all of the stock. I'm going to be adding in some of the looser liquid to help pour out some of those solids. Okay, and again, this has a very orangey color to it. It's all going to go away with the addition of the rest of the stock. So I might need to do a separate vessel at this point, I think. Give it a taste. Let's see, is it sweet? Is it rich? Guys, that sweet potato, it really adds an oomph to it. That adds such a special little bit of oomph. Okay, excellent, delicious, phenomenal. In fact, honestly, I really like the richness of this as it is. I'm wondering if I do even want any more stock in here. Beautiful color, isn't it? Okay. I think I need to accept the fact that I need to use another pot. Everybody, we've been coping for long enough. We'll have to, unfortunately, dirty another dish. I was hesitant to do so, but I think I have no other choice. Pour it in, and pour it in fast so it doesn't stick to the edges. Not directly over the ladle. Pour it all in. That's a lot better, actually. Thank you very much. Sorry to this saucepan. You're going into the dishwasher. I apologize sincerely for what I did to you. Let's go ahead and strain in the rest of the stock, my friends. So, grab that. Grab my strainer once more. Grab that bad boy. And we're gonna pour it all in. Pour it in and be done with it. Once and for all. Okay? And guys, don't worry about those mushrooms. Those mushrooms have been pressure cooked. They have the life cooked out of them. I don't know if you guys have ever been pressure cooked before. Not a pleasant experience. You don't really get to taste like anything after that point. All right? So, don't worry about it. Oh, hello. That's done charring apparently, according to the timer, even though it's not. Everybody, it's time to go ahead and inspect the corn. But look at my vegan ramen broth. Completely vegan. And again, it is not at the peak of its flavor. It's still gonna have miso paste. It's still gonna have some soy sauce added to it at the end of the preparation. It's gonna be lovely. I have been pressure cooked, Dara. Don't ask me what I was up to a few years ago. So, I'm being a little silly. Let's go ahead and give my corn A nice little rotation, my friends. You can see how charred it's becoming. You can see how nice and grilled and nice and smoky she's becoming. So just flip her around a little bit to the next naked side and then get her back inside, get her back on in there, and get her back charring once more. Okay? Beautiful. So, everybody, we're going to continue with some of the cleaning process. Okay? Because remember, when you cook at home, you have to clean as you go. One of the biggest mistakes that you can make is to not immediately clean your blender. Everybody, clean your blender immediately and you will thank me later. Okay? Because otherwise, all of the food is going to get stuck under it. Rinse it off once, add some soap, add some water, and then use the natural power of the blender. Do not let it dry. Don't let it dry at all. Okay? Don't let it dry. Just going to go ahead and get in there. I'm going to start by rinsing off the solids. And then I'm going to fill it up halfway with some water and add some soap to it. Halfway. Add some soap. And we'll just get it nice and blended. Mmm, delicious. Do we put any oil or butter on the corn or not? Yes, we do a little bit of oil. Because the oil helps the heat to conduct evenly. Without the presence of the oil, Eskia, the corn is not going to get properly and evenly charred all over. So, grab that. I'll probably just rinse this off really quickly too, just to get the solids off this guy. Grab that and clean it now, my friends. Clean it now. Don't clean it later. Clean it all now. Get it back on there. Just blend it. Use the natural power of the blender. Because if you let your ingredients dry, they're going to get caked. They're going to get stuck. Okay, to the bottom of it. To below the blender. Oh, excuse me. To below the blender, that is. There you go. And let that go for a minute. Let it go. Let it do its thing. That's it. And it's all done. Now we just gotta rinse it out. Chef, how do you clean your spider? So, the answer is water and soap, and I just poke out anything that's stuck in it. You also clean out pretty quickly, right? Things like your strainers. Guys, you don't wanna leave them to sit there for too long. You wanna clean them off as soon as humanly possible. So, all of this, I'm gonna rinse off now, and I'm gonna go ahead and get it put away to dry. That's how easy cleaning a blender can be. Don't leave it in the sink. Don't leave your blender cup in the sink, guys. Do it now, and you'll thank yourself later. Okay? Do it now. Keep up the momentum. Keep it up. Keep it up, keep it up, keep it up. Let's go ahead and pour out all of the soapy water. Let's get them out of there. Okay? And then we'll go ahead and check on the corn. We gotta process the corn still. We have to finish up the stock. We have to cook the mushrooms. We have to cook the bokchoy. Everybody, we have our work cut out for us today. We're entering the end stages of my ramen today. And I hope it's gonna come out great. And I hope it's gonna come out delicious. Chat, do you think it's gonna come out delicious? My lovely little sous chefs, do you think it's gonna be lovely? Okay. Yes, chef? Perfect. That's what I want to hear. That's what I want to see. Sure, evergly. That's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for yes, chefs, please, and thank you. That's about it. Nothing else will be deemed acceptable. Okay, my corn seems to be perfectly charred. I'm going to go ahead and end it right now. I'm going to put away my blender, make a little bit of space for some of my other components, and then we'll be all set. Make some space, make some room for all the other stuff that we got going on. And let's take my beautiful corn out, and I'm going to show you how nice and charred it is. Nice and smoky, nice and grilled, nice and flavorful. She's becoming. Oh yeah. Everybody, that is a perfectly charred piece of corn, yeah? Look at this. Have I ever seen the movie Burn to Boiling Point? I have not. I don't know what that is. So that's a broth. That's, of course, a lovely broth. Now look at this instead. Oh, hello. There she is. So my corn, it got nice and charred. It got nice and smoky. And now the only thing is we want to go ahead and cool it down enough until it is ready for us to go ahead and take all the kernels off. Do I ever deliberately use MSG in cooking? Evidently, the answer is sometimes, kind of. I just feel like I'm never really using, you know, MSG is most often, once again, used in like East Asian cuisine. It's used in Filipino food. You know, if I'm making those cuisines, then sometimes I will. Otherwise, I never particularly feel a need to because I always have like enough meaty ingredients in there. But sometimes I will. Okay, so guys, the miso paste and the soy sauce are going to make it salty. We will just need a little bit of extra salt to compensate for that in the meantime. We don't want a fully seasoned stock though. Okay, really, really important. You don't want this to be fully salted. You don't want this to be fully seasoned at the stage or anything. So, just mix it in, dissolve that salt really quickly, and we'll give it another tasting session. It's rich, it's aromatic, it is super flavorful, it is super delicious. Give that a little taste. I promise you, that little bit of sweet potato makes all the difference, okay? So, that's ready to go. Now what do we have to do? Let's take this ramen broth and let's put it back onto the heat. Because now I want to cook my shiitake mushroom caps. 10 minutes of boiling, something like that. Got all my lovely little shiitake mushrooms, my friends. And I'm just going to go ahead and grab a few and just pop them right in. And I just want these to get nice and juicy, and I want them to get nice and cooked. For myself today, I think 3 caps is going to be more than enough. 3 caps is going to do the job for me just fine. Okay? It's also going to continue to flavor the broth, but this is mostly just for my topping. Okay, so get that going, get that happening. We can begin preparing the bowl. We can begin preparing the bowl for us to go ahead and do the corn. We can begin preparing the garnish plate. Everybody, I'm really excited for this ramen to come out today. Also, additionally, don't forget my bokchoy. So, really quickly about bokchoy, everybody come with me. I'm going to do a bit of a food rant. So, I have this bokchoy, right? Here's my problem. I hate whole heads of bok choy that people do. Sometimes people are like, oh, this baby bok choy is so pretty. I'm gonna slice it down the middle and cook it that way. I am so sick and tired of whole vegetables, whole cabbages, nonsense, whole broccoli, nonsense, whole cauliflower, nonsense. And let me explain to you why. It's because inside there's dirt. These things grow. They're vegetables. They have dirt. The best way to properly clean them is to really get in there. Okay? Second of all, here's my second problem with this, everybody. Okay? It's about ease of consumption. I have a question for all of you. How many times have you gotten bok choy in like a dish inside of like a stir fry? And it's like one of those bok choys that have been cut in half. Right? It's been cut in half. And you try to go in there and you try to eat it and you're gnawing at it. You're gnawing at it, you're trying to eat it, you're trying to chew through it, and you just like that on it. It is unpleasant. It is just not a good time, objectively speaking. I want food that is easy and convenient to eat. This bok choy is going into a soup, damn it, is going to ramen. Okay? And so the last thing that I want is to gnaw and chew on it like my life depends on it. Okay? Because that is just annoying. That is annoying and that is inconvenient to eat, and that does not make anybody feel good, especially myself. So, we're going to go ahead and do it in its individual leaves as a result. I don't care if it's not as rustic. I don't care if it's not as aesthetically pleasing. I do not care. It's too much bok choy for one bite. That's right, Dr. Slowbro. That's what I've been saying. So, as for my shiitake mushrooms, guys, again, we just want to go ahead and get this ramen broth nice and hot. We want to get it nice and hot, and we want to get my shiitakes cooked through. Right? Because these are going to be what we're eating. And so I want them to be nice and tender, nice and juicy. I love, by the way, one of my favorite things when I'm going out for a hot pot is a shiitake mushroom. When they do the dried shiitake mushrooms and they soak it and then you go ahead and you put it into the hot pot, I love how juicy a shiitake mushroom is. A shiitake mushroom, it's up there as one of my favorite mushrooms easily. Very, very easily. Okay? So that's going. That's doing its thing. It's almost there, my friends. Okay, my corn is continuing to just cool off a little bit. I'm rolling it around to hopefully steam it off faster so we can get to processing it. And I guess we could also put in the bok choy. The water doesn't have to be boiling. The ramen broth doesn't really have to be boiling at the stage or anything. I'm just gonna put them in. These need maybe 4 minutes of cooking. I don't want to cook them too heavily. I want some crunch to it still. I still want some flavor, and I don't want it to lose all of its flavor inside of the water itself. Now, do people cook vegetables in ramen broth? No. Is this what ramen shops do? Is this traditional? No, it's not. But who cares what's traditional? This is going to be delicious. I'm making use out of the water that I have. I'm not going to get out another pot just to boil my mushrooms and boil my noodles and boil my bok choy. That seems like a waste of my time and energy, quite frankly. So let's just get them in there. Okay, let's get them nicely cooked through. Let's get it happening, my friends. Okay? You don't have to worry about seasoning these components either. Again, I'm telling you, a lot of the seasoning is going to come from the base. Okay? So, speaking of which, maybe we can even begin constructing it. Serena, thank you so much for stopping by. It was lovely to have you. You are going to miss the great reveal of my ramen, but that's okay. Okay? So, in here, miso paste, soy sauce, sesame oil. That's it. A little bit of soy sauce, a little bit of miso paste. Nice spoon of that going to be going in, and then it's all going to get mixed into the broth, my friends. Nice big spoon of that. In fact, because remember, at the end of the day, this is a miso ramen that I'm doing here. So, nice, generous spoon of miso paste into each, and then we'll also do some sesame oil and mix it up. So get that thing off there. Thank you very much. And then a little drop of sesame oil, and I guess we could also do some mirin. Normally, again, everybody, you would do what is called a tare. A tare is the sauce of the ramen, right? And it is what then goes on to flavor the broth itself. That's not what I'm going to be doing today. I'm just going to be doing this. Nice and easy, nice and simple. And I'm gonna have plenty of sweetness from my sweet potato as well as my marinated eggs. So I'm not really worried about my mirin component or anything. So just mix this up, maybe a little splash of soy sauce more. Also, if you guys would like, you could do some togarashi, you could do some chili oil on this as well. Those are always excellent and delicious seasoning oils. So just mix it up. You just wanna break up any big clumps of miso paste that could be remaining. Okay, mix it up. You're gonna get like this thick paste on the bottom. That's what we're looking for. Give it a little taste. Salty, woody, sesame, soy sauce. It's got it all, baby. It's got it all. Mix it up. Mix it up, mix it up, mix it up, mix it up, mix it up. Okay, and this is going to be done per bowl of ramen. In Japanese cooking, traditionally, you don't really significantly cook miso. You lose a lot of its fresher notes that way, right? Because guess what, guys? Aromatics evaporate. Aromatics sometimes evaporates. Aromatics lose their flavor on occasion. So that's enough of the miso paste. That's enough of all that, my friends. So nice and mixed up, nice and ready to go. And we're getting that ramen broth boiling. We're getting it nice and hot. And we're about to evaluate whether or not the bok choy is done. Audio Murphy, it's been so long. Welcome on in. The menu is just broken for today. It is only today that it's broken. I sincerely apologize. So your timing was a little bit off. So my bad. Everybody, my bok choy, again, I just want it to be nice and tender. I want it to be nice and soft. I want it to get nice and cooked through. Right? So it's almost there. It's going to need about a minute or two extra. The shiitake mushrooms, honestly, they could cook infinitely for all I care. They can cook for as long as you would like them to. Wonderful. Does anybody have any questions for me in the meantime? We're rapidly approaching the final stages of this all, guys. Cooking the bok choy, cooking the mushrooms. We're making it all happen. We're making it all happen live. Okay, I need to wipe this guy down. Wash this bowl up. Because we're going to be also taking the corn off the cob. Oh, everybody, I am so excited for this ramen today. It's going to be really, really delicious. It's going to have so many components. It's going to be lovely. It's going to be wonderful. Try to make tortillas yesterday. Do you have any tips for rolling them out so they're round? Florianox, if you're talking about flour tortillas, the answer is practice. And to keep doing it over and over and ask somebody who's 70 years old because they're typically good about that. In my case, I'm awful with doughs. I'm awful with doughs. It requires a lot of sense. It requires a lot of intuition that you build over time of simply studying it. So I know that's a bit of a non-answer and I apologize for that, but that really is the best thing that I could suggest for you in that case. Okay, so again, I just want my bok choy nice and tender. Tremendous cooking show. Discharge, I appreciate it. Thank you, that's very sweet of you. Welcome on in. Hope you're having an amazing day today. So, my bok choy, is it done at this stage? Let's find out. Again, the water has not been boiling, so it's not the hottest water in the world. I can tell that the leaves are beginning to sag a little bit, but otherwise the stem seems super, super intact. So I'm going to give it a little bit longer before we remove it, my friends. Next. I thought you were supposed to use one of those press things and not roll them out. Choy, that is for corn tortillas. Flour tortillas, because of the fact that they have gluten inside of them, you will need to use, whatchamacallit? You will need to use a rolling pin. Okay, so bowl, simple. I'm going to show you the best way to take corn off the cob. Bowl, double bowl action, just like so. Now that you have two bowls, stacked atop one another, you grab your cob of corn once it's been cooled down enough that you can handle it to the touch, and without going too deep into the kernel, guys, or into the cob itself, right? We're just gently scraping it off. You don't want to feel a lot of resistance when you're doing this. You want to scrape it off. You want to scrape it off. You want to scrape it off. Scrape it off. Scrape it off. Scrape it off. Scrape it off, just like so. You don't want any of that cob. The cob is going to ruin the texture of your final dish. Scrape it off, guys. Scrape it off. You heard that sound? You heard that crunch? That's not what we want. Scrape it off. Scrape it off. Scrape it off. Beautiful. Okay, we'll give it a little rotation and we'll come back to it in just a second, because right now I don't want my bok choy to overcook into nothingness, my friends. So in order to prevent that, we gotta take it out. We gotta take it out. We gotta show it who's boss. Okay? So, yes, now the stem has a little bit more bend. It has a little bit more give to it. I can officially take out my bok choy. I'm not gonna shock it. I'm not gonna do anything crazy like that, my friends. I'm just gonna go ahead and remove her. Yep, nice and tender, but without it being completely mushy and falling apart. Grabbing my bok choy, getting that broth off of it, and now, my friends, we are building my plate of components. We are building my plate of components. Slowly but surely. Everything is all coming together. My shiitake still need a little bit more time. It's all coming together. Right? The shiitakes, guys, fun thing about mushrooms, you can't really overcook them. You can only just cook them to the point that you lose their flavor in something. But in my case, my shiitakes are mostly there for texture. So 3 shiitakes that we got still going. And in the meantime, let's go ahead and keep getting this corn out of here, my friends. Once again, give it a little scrape, give it a little scrape, scrape it off. Don't slice into the cob, guys. And once again, guys, if you like what you're watching, if you want to support the show, ! Patreon. My goal is to be able to do this full time one day. I want to keep this content free for everybody to watch. The Patreon does not unlock you any exclusive content. The whole goal of this, I want to help everybody at all levels of income cook at home. So if you have a little bit more income, any and all help directly on the Patreon goes a super, super long way. I don't know why the ! Didn't work, or you can just go to patreon.com/Daramgar, something like that. I believe that always works out. Okay. Beautiful. All the corn is officially off the cob. We can go ahead and discard this bad boy. And guys, this trick, or rather the inverted bowl method, I picked it up from Chef John from foodwishes.com many years ago. And I've used it ever since. All of my links are dead? No, they're not, Koi. ! Patreon should still work. It should still work. Moobot is still functional. I think it's because, try it again. Try it again. And you'll see. And it'll be just fine. That one should be functional. Just Moobot is a little bit picky sometimes. Okay? And let's grab all the corn. It's because Moobot didn't like Shy Chica just now. I'm sorry, Shy Chica. It's nothing personal. Let's get all that corn. All of my beautiful childhood corn, my friends. Look at this plate of condiments for my lovely ramen. Okay, gorgeous. She's coming together. She's all coming together, my friends. And now this bowl is done. We can go ahead and get rid of it. My shiitake mushrooms are cooking. Last thing is we gotta slice the egg. We're gonna keep moving, my friends. We're gonna keep putting things away as we go. But this is the base of my ramen today. We have my bokchoy, we have my corn, we have my scallions, we have my shiitakes cooking, and we also have my egg. We have a lot of different toppings, we have a lot of different components, and they all bring something different to the table. So, tie that up. Now everybody, this is the moment of truth. Did we achieve a perfectly cooked, soft-boiled egg? Now, it's not gonna be fully marinated at this stage. Again, ideally 4 to 6 hours. I'm going to need to take one out for the camera. Everybody, is it gonna be a perfectly soft-boiled egg? Is it time for us to find out? They've been marinating. They've been going. They've been doing their thing. The outside, slightly stained in its texture, right? You can see it seeping in. The beautiful thing about soft-boiled eggs, guys, it is just how much flavor they end up soaking up. That is why I love marinating eggs, and so should you. So, one egg, grabbing it. I grab that bad boy. Okay, let's find out. I want to see a nice, creamy yolk inside, ideally. It feels soft to the touch. That's already a good start, but is it going to finish strong? Let's find out. This is it. This is the moment of truth. This is what we've all been waiting for. Do we have a beautiful, perfectly cooked egg? Take it and just quickly slice it right down the middle. That's okay. That's all right. A little over. It's a little bit over. It's Jovu. We didn't actually achieve it. Oh well. Tough luck. It's still creamy. It's still rich on the inside, as you can see, right? But I wanted it a little bit less cooked. And for whatever reason, the yolk of this sunk to the bottom. That's not really supposed to happen, but whatever, it's fine. These are all of my toppings. These are all of my components, guys, that are going to be going into the ramen. I can officially wash my knife for the last time, once and for all. Get it out of here, get it out of sight, and get it out of mind. Get that done. Get that out of here. Washing up my knife. Getting it all ready to go. And then we're going to cook the noodles, and we're going to plate and present it all. Cooked corn on ramen. Choy. Oh no. Why did you say that, choy? Ugh. That's why I got overdone, I think, with uncentered yolk. Yeah, I think so too. I'm not going to slice the other ones in that case. Like, you know, I have 3 eggs. I may as well make the most out of it later on. Okay. And we're also going to go ahead and take out my mushrooms. Because I think at this point, my mushrooms are nice and juicy. My mushrooms should be nice and cooked. Bok choy is underrated, isn't it? Okay. So getting all of my different toppings, all of my different components, all of it ready to go. It is time for us to remove the mushrooms. And we're going to ladle in the broth and cook in the noodles. So, back to the stove. Let's grab these bad boys. This is all for me, my friends. I'm not going to cut the mushrooms, choy. It's just going to be as is. So, grab them. 1, 2, and 3. I've decided these will be just fine the way they are. Okay? Excellent. Next, let's taste my ramen broth one more time. Let's see. Again, everybody, you want it undersalted at this stage. You need it undersalted, okay? Because the miso and the soy sauce is going to be your seasoning. You just don't want it to boil away. Delicious. Delicious and simple, and it's not there yet. Guys, trust the process. So, I'm going to grab my bowl that has my soy sauce, my miso paste, and everything inside of it. We're going to ladle in some of the broth now. We haven't done the noodles yet, but don't worry, we will. Let's ladle in the broth. Let's ladle in my gorgeous broth, guys. And you can already see it beginning to come together, yeah? 3 big ladles, maybe a 4th, for good measure, for good luck. There you go, something like that. And now we're going to mix in the broth. We're going to do the noodles in just a second, my friends. I do the broth first, then noodles, and then all of my toppings. We're going to try to make it beautiful today. Okay? So let's mix in the soy sauce. Let's mix in the miso soup, or the miso paste rather. Again, we don't cook the miso paste. We only mix it in here. Mix it all in, mix in that paste, mix in that seasoning, give it a taste. That's it. Holy, that is good. That is good. The miso paste and the soy sauce comes together, completely vegan. This broth, completely vegan. And the amount of flavor it has, straight up, not okay. That is good. That is rich. That is sumptuous. That is special. That is a special bowl of ramen we're about to make. So back to the stove. Come with me. Come with me. So here's what we're gonna do. Instant ramen noodles. Oh no, you're not using fresh noodles. I don't care. This is the best option if you don't have access to frozen sun ramen noodles or something. If you're making your own ramen noodles, go ahead. I hope you have 15 years of experience because it's really, really difficult. There is nothing wrong with a, dried instant ramen noodle. They've been cooked and they've been fried to dehydrate them and they're perfect and they'll be perfectly fine and they will be perfectly, perfectly delicious. And I don't care what anybody has to say about it because it's 2024 and grow up. It's instant ramen and instant ramen is very delicious. So we're going to go ahead and grab it and just put it in. And I always, super important guys, consider this. As the soup cools down, as the ramen sits inside of the broth, it continues to soak up water. So important. You basically want to cook this like you would al dente. Right? You want to cook this al dente so that it doesn't turn into complete mush when it goes back into the rest of the broth. I'm going to quickly rinse off my spider because that's what I'm going to be using to get it in there to begin with. So rinse it off, get all those weird little vegetable scraps out of there. I need to move fast, guys. We gotta move fast. We gotta move quick. We gotta move with action. Okay, we need to move with persistence. So no more ladle. The ladle's all done for the moment. Now, just leave it alone. Let it do its thing. We'll flip it over in just a second, guys. We gotta move fast. We gotta move fast. We gotta set up the station. Next, my ramen broth. There it is. It definitely needs a plate to go on, though. It needs a plate. So we'll give it a plate. We'll give it a bit of a coaster plate just to help stabilize it. Excellent. Everybody, we're getting there. It's all coming together. Do you guys see the vision? Do you guys see what's happening? So next, I'm going to grab some chopsticks. We're going to begin breaking up the ramen noodles and flipping them over a little bit. Everybody, do you see this vision? You're seeing this, right? It's all coming together now. Break it up. Taste it. You want to make sure that there is still a good bite to the ramen noodles. Break up those little clumps. Break them up. Break them up. Break up those little clicks. Everybody needs to get along. Everybody needs to get to know each other. Not to be oh, let the flavors get to know each other like a Reddit Babish guy. No, that's not what's going on here. We just want to let it evenly cook. Okay, everybody, pull it now. Grab it using the spider. We're going to get all of those noodles onto my spider. All of it onto the spider and into the bowl. I didn't do the best job of it, but that's okay. Whatever, some of them will be overcooked. We'll live. It's instant ramen. It's not a perfect, oh no, this isn't sun ramen noodles. It's over. It'll be fine. Right into the center. Pile it up in the center. Grab all of those noodles, my friends. Grab it. Pile it up. Right in the center. Right in the center. Grab it and pile it up. That should be all set. That should be all ready to go. Everybody, it is time for us to finish. And it is time for us to finish strong. We're almost done. We're almost done with the process. So, let's come back here. I want you all to witness my final creation. This is where it all comes together. So, we're going to begin with some bokchoy. We're going to begin with some bokchoy. And we're going to tuck it into the side, into the corner. 1, 2, or rather, probably fold it over on itself so that the leaves aren't hanging off the bowl. 1, 2, again, vegetable forward. I love my vegetables. I'm here to get you guys excited about eating vegetables. 4 things of bok choy right on the side. Next, my shiitake mushrooms that have been perfectly cooked. We're going to go ahead and first we'll break up this order. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to lay in my eggs. We're going to lay in my eggs. Excellent. Then I'm going to do my shiitake mushrooms right here instead. Maybe on this side, probably. I want to figure out the best way to make this stuff look nice. So it needs to probably rest on something solid to stop it from sinking in completely. Next, a big pile of corn. Big, beautiful pile of corn. I love corn in my ramen. I love a nice pile of corn. It's all toppings. All this is about toppings, baby. Nice, aggressive pile of corn. And then last but not least, if you thought the corn was aggressive, the scallions. Right there. Big mound. Big mound. I should have probably done the corn first to break up all that greenery as it is. But honestly, I don't think I'm too upset about this. Who cares? Social media gone. That's who. Big pile of scallions. And I think that's it. Completely vegetarian. Almost vegan had it not been for the egg. Look at that. Who doesn't want to eat that? You have to be insane to not want to eat this. Guys, look at it. Look at it. Look at this bowl of ramen that I have. Beautiful. Ooh. God, you wish this was you. You all wish this was you right now. This is special. This might be one of the best things we've ever done here, truthfully. You saw how easy that was too? That wasn't too crazy, right? That wasn't too difficult. It was just a bunch of good toppings and components. But this is a ramen you can make at home. This isn't the 10-hour tonkotsu. You can do this. You can do this. Everybody can cook. You can do this, and I want you to do it. Everybody, this is my ramen. This is my vegetarian ramen. Everything here is completely vegetarian. Almost vegan, had it not been for the egg. We have a lot of components. We have a lot going on. I want to hear a nice resounding yes, chef. Please and thank you from everybody watching. I'm going to walk you through every single little component that went into this masterpiece. This was made with love, effort, and integrity. This is my vegetarian ramen. So, I'm going to grab my chopsticks and we're going to point to, whoa, hello. Not my camera, please. I don't want to hit my camera again. Thank you. Okay, I got a little intense. So what do we have? Let's start with the least interesting components. Okay? Also, thank you for the 100 bits. We have some shiitake mushrooms that we boiled in a broth. We have some bokchoy, nice and green, nice and vegetal. I want food that makes you feel good. Okay? I want food that makes you feel good. I want food that is vegetable forward and really, really healthy. We have some corn that we charred, right? Like Mexican style street corn, like elotes. We charred it under the broiler. We got it nice and smoky, nice and flavorful. We have a lovely pile of scallions. Next, the ramen egg. The ramen egg, indispensable to a good ramen, my friends. You cannot have a good ramen without the ramen egg. Creamy, delicious, perfectly soft boiled eggs, kind of. Don't ask about if it's perfectly or not. Soft boiled eggs. We made a marinade out of soy sauce, out of mirin, okay? Out of some sugar and some water. Next, for the broth itself, we made a little seasoning paste. Miso paste, soy sauce, sesame oil. And then the broth, my friends. We charred onion, charred ginger, charred scallions, and charred garlic. We washed up an entire leek. We added my shiitake mushroom stems. We added some fresh shiitake mushrooms as well. We added dry shiitake mushrooms. All of that goes in. It pressure cooks. We roasted a sweet potato. We blend the sweet potato with some of the broth, and that gives it that beautiful color, that gives it that beautiful consistency. It gives it some oomph. We have everything we want. We have protein from the eggs and the mushrooms. We have a nice green vegetable component in the form of this bok choy and in the scallions. We have some sweetness from the corn. We have the depth and the richness and the nutrition that is this amazing vegetable broth. And then we have the ramen noodles under it all. I gotta try this, guys. Cheers. Let's have a little sip of the broth just as is. I can't believe that's vegan. I cannot believe that's vegan. That is how much flavor it is. That broth, wow. This tastes like a miso pork broth. Guys. Oh, wow. But it's still like clean. It's not as rich as the tonkotsu. It's clean. Beautiful, amazing. Next, let's try some of the egg, my friends. Try some of the egg, take that. You know, still managed to marinate a little bit. Little shiitake, a little bit of shiitake. Juicy. Love a good shiitake. Grab some bokchoy, yeah? Take that. A little bit of corn. And last but not least, my friends, the noodles. This might be like in the top 5 things I've ever made, by the way, which I've cooked a lot. I cook 3 times a week. I've been cooking since I was 7 years old. This isn't the top 5 things I've ever made. Absolutely, 100%. Amazing. You want ramen at home? This is what you do. This has depth. This has flavor. You don't have to spend 12 hours making a tonkotsu pork broth. This is good for you. It's vegetable based. This is the kind of a ramen that you can eat a full bowl of and feel good after. This is some serious business. Everybody, I want to enjoy this off camera. I don't want to eat this all on camera. That is excellent. That is flavorful. It's all about, you need the miso paste, sesame oil, and soy sauce, by the way. That really makes it. Everybody, thank you for being here. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you. We had an amazing week. We had an amazing week of dishes. Everything that we made Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, it was all lovely. I might do another ramen stream in the future if you guys would like that. I should make this for somebody that I care about and feed it to them, and they'll love it too. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you all for stopping by. Thank you for supporting the show. Exclamation mark Patreon. I want to do full time. I want to run this cooking show full time. I want to upgrade it and I want to improve it. Any and all financial support on the Patreon goes a long way, especially because I'm living on my own now. I'm no longer living at my mom's place and rent is expensive. So any and all help, that would be really appreciated. So please and thank you. That would help a lot. Next stream is going to be this Wednesday, 5 p.m. EDT, 5 p.m. EDT, twitch.tv/Daramgar TV. Everybody, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate every single one of you. Thank you for joining me on this amazing ramen adventure. I had a great time. I had so much fun making this. I thought it was going to be more chaotic and take longer and be messier, but no, this was amazing. Thank you for being here. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate every single one of you. And I'm going to see you this Wednesday, 5 p.m. EDT, every Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. Till then, take care, be safe, and goodbye. Don't get into any trouble or I'll kill you. Bye-bye.